Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Gaowu. Treasure chests everywhere, SS's holy body at the beginning. Chapter 41. Here, there is a huge mountain with steep and vertical rock walls, toweringly. Under the mountain, there is a cave. At the entrance of the cave, a battle was taking place. To be precise, there were quite a few people attacking this cave. There are actually demonic plants here. Yi Feng was shocked to find that there were several demonic plants like piranha at the entrance of the cave, resisting people's attack. At first, the situation was somewhat stalemate, but something unexpected happened at the next moment. A bigger piranha flower suddenly rushed out from the cave. The huge mouthparts suddenly bite the person in the battle, screams are heard while chewing, blood splashes everywhere, and they are all quickly swallowed. The scene is extremely bloody. Sure enough, there are stronger ones inside. Even King Wu at his peak may not be able to defeat this blood-mouthed man-eating flower. Among the people watching nearby, a young man in luxurious clothes said with a solemn expression. The blood-mouthed piranha in his mouth refers to those demonic plants in the cave. Their mouthparts are the same color as blood. When they prey, the blood splashes and becomes even redder, hence the name. Master, what should we do? The tall and muscular attendant beside him asked. The more this happens, the more certain it is that this is Boffin's burial place. So, no matter how difficult it is, we must go in. I have already informed the elders of the Jong family to send experts to support. The young man, Jong Minguin, said, looked at the man on the other side who had been tinkering with the utensils in the drum, and asked aloud, "Are you almost ready?" "Get back to me soon, young master," he answered with his mouth, and kept moving his hands, continuing to feed some particles to the GU insects in the vessel. These three people had met them outside before entering the secret realm, and Yi Feng had some impressions of them. From the words of other nearby onlookers talking to each other, Yi Feng keenly captured the words, Boffin. It turns out that they gathered here because they suspected that this was Boffin's cemetery. When searching for information about demonized plants, there is always a name that cannot be avoided, which is Boffin. Stories about him have been passed down for a long time. Even though it has disappeared for 20 years, its popularity is still very high. How the news here spread is unknown. Anyway, everyone present comes from different camps, including family forces and individual casual cultivators, and their strength is also high or low. The demonized plants at the entrance of the cave are so powerful that no one present is a match. Except for a few reckless ones who will rush to die, most people remain on the sidelines for the time being. Although it is a potential competitive relationship, because they are all stuck outside, the situation is relatively stable for the time being. They were all imagining that if this place was really Boffin's cemetery, it was very likely that there would be Boffin's research results there. As long as these research results can be obtained, it will be a huge treasure. Yi Feng waited at the entrance of the cave for a while and quickly concluded that he did not have the strength to break in. Just the one I saw just now, the huge blood-mouthed piranha, I couldn't defeat. Even though they didn't come out of the cave, they thought they could use the Soul Master's ability to attack them from a distance. In fact, they can move and will not stay in place, waiting to be beaten. If Yi Feng dares to touch them, he will definitely be hunted down. So why don't you make wedding clothes for others in vain? Yi Feng did not waste time here and continued on the road, following the arrow guidance and opening the treasure chest first to see if things could turn around. How does it feel, like you are walking around the mountain? Yi Feng discovered that the arrow's guidance was close to the edge of the mountain, causing Yi Feng to keep walking around the mountain. Should be here soon. Yi Feng perked up. This place is located on the back of the mountain. The plants here are relatively lush, and the entire mountain is covered with thick weeping vines. The arrow reaches here and finally points to a certain location on the hanging vine. The treasure chest is under the weeping vine. Yi Feng first made a tentative attack and found that they were all ordinary plants and there were no dangers nearby, so he opened the weeping vines. A dark hole appeared in front of Yi Feng. The hole is not big, just big enough for one person to get in. If it weren't for the arrow guidance, I would definitely not know that there is such a small hole hidden under the thick hanging vines. The arrow is still extending toward the entrance of the cave. If you want to open the treasure chest, you have to get in. Just drill. Yi Feng got in. The first few meters are relatively narrow, and then the mountain road gradually becomes wider. Soon, Yi Feng no longer had to crawl forward and could stand up and walk. The mountain road has twists and turns and is pitch black. Fortunately, the warrior's eyesight is amazing and he will not go blind. The view ahead widened, and Yi Feng discovered that he had arrived at a large cave hall. There are often cavities inside the mountain, forming this kind of cave. In the darkness, the green light in the middle of the cave looked very dazzling. Treasure chest. Yi Feng walked over and was about to open the treasure chest when he glanced out of the corner of his eye and his body tensed up. Is there anyone? Yi Feng almost attacked. After quickly taking a closer look, I found that it was not a human being, but a corpse that had been dead for an unknown period of time. Snap. Let's open the treasure chest first. You opened a green, high-quality treasure box. Congratulations on getting 6,000 soul power points, 30% sword intent. Merge. Yi Feng's soul power skyrocketed crazily, from the original 9,000 points to 15,000 points. He rose to 2 small realms in a row. From the original early level general level, he was upgraded to the late level general level. It feels so good to be so powerful. Yi Feng vaguely felt that he was capable of transcending the ranks and fighting against King Wu in his early stage. Unfortunately, even so, the demonic plants in the cave are still too strong for me to deal with now. In addition to the surge in soul power, Yi Feng also gained 30% of his sword intention. The so-called sword intention is a kind of artistic conception that can be understood after practicing sword skills to a certain level and having a very high understanding of swords. Not only does the sword have the intention of the sword, but those who practice other paths also have their own artistic conceptions. For example, the sword has the sword intention, the gun has the spear intention, the fist has the fist intention. The artistic conception is extremely difficult to understand. There are very few people who can understand the artistic conception. They are all geniuses in their respective fields. Especially when the realm is relatively low, those with artistic conception are even rarer. Generally, one has to reach King Wu or above to gradually understand the artistic conception. There are a total of 10% of the complete artistic conception. Every 10% more is comprehended, the greater the blessing to the combat power. Yi Feng was only at the level of a military general at this time, and already possessed a full 30% of his artistic conception. It could be said that he had a huge advantage and greatly improved his strength. It's different with the blessing of sword intention. I feel now that the knife in my hand is like an extension of my arm. There is an idiom that goes well, like an arm moving a finger, it should be this kind of state. How can you not be strong when fighting in this state? This corpse. Yi Feng looked at the bones over there. After many years, only the skeleton remains of the body, which is somewhat blackened. Poisoned. Such a phenomenon made Yi Feng speculate on the cause of his death. Hey, there is a book. Yi Feng discovered that the bones were lying flat and there was a book pillowed under the head. This person, could he be Boffin? Although it was a question, Yi Feng's tone was extremely determined. Just now, all my attention was focused on finding and opening the treasure chest, and I didn't think about it in detail. Now if I think about it carefully, the mountain I came in from was actually the same mountain as the one where the demonized plants appeared. However, others don't know that there are 2 entrances. But he accidentally hit it, and was led by the arrow from the treasure box. He entered through a small hole on the back of the mountain, and finally arrived at the Dongting here. Then this corpse should be that of Boffin. As those people suspected, Boffin had been killed long ago and was buried here. Judging from the cause of death, it should be that after Boffin was poisoned, he knew that he would die without a solution, so he found this place as a burial place. The demonized plants guarding the cave entrance outside were also arranged by him before his death. After all, it was rumored that he cultivated many demonic plants during his lifetime. When you think about it this way, everything falls into place. Then this book under his pillow. Yi Feng's breathing became rapid. He immediately went over and slowly pulled out the book. Open and browse, line by line, page by page. The more Yi Feng looked, the brighter his eyes became. It's him. It's indeed him. The thick notebook contains all records related to demonized plants, which are the results of Boffin's lifelong research. It contains research on various demonized plants, down to the smallest detail, such as how to grow a mature demonized plant from a demonized seed. The plans for each stage are written clearly. Yi Feng was originally worried about where he could find information on cultivating demonized plant seeds. Otherwise, the mulberry vine seeds he obtained would be just a decoration. Now it's good. After getting Buffin's research results, we have a cultivation plan. However, now is not the time to take a closer look. Maybe at some point, a master will arrive from outside and attack. Yi Feng is very clear about the reason why he is guilty of holding a jade. Buffin will die. For this reason, Yi Feng does not want to become the next Buffin. Brother Mu, after receiving your research results, I can be considered half of your student. I'll take you with me to find a place outside to bury you. Otherwise, when those people outside come in, they might tear you apart. Before Yi Feng left, he said to Buffin's corpse. The above mentioned is just one of the reasons. There is another reason to take away the bones. Even if outsiders come in and find no bones, they will not guess that this is the burial place of Buffin, and the matter will be settled. And if the bones were found, his research results were not found. This group of people will definitely not give up and will try every means to find it. Although Yi Feng may not be found in the end, it is not a good thing to be remembered and searched hard. To make a fortune in silence, it is of course better not to let people know about it. Yi Feng took the skeleton and left quickly, evacuating from the original route. At this time, the demonized plants are on the other side of the cave. The situation is similar to before, except that the number of people seems to be larger, and they are coming later. The people who came later were relatively average in strength and could not defeat the demonized plants, so they could only wait and see. Master, that's it. Can we start now? The man holding the utensil said to Zhang Mingxuan. Start immediately. Zhang Mingxuan affirmed. Yes. The man squatted down and tilted the container in his hand to the ground. Several black worms squirmed out of it, which were about the size of fingers and looked like earthworms. They were very inconspicuous. The Jong family has a tradition of raising voodoo bugs. GU bugs have different functions, including poisonous bugs, tracking bugs, flying bugs, and ground burrowing bugs. This black poisonous bug is called a sniffing bug, and it belongs to a category of tracking bugs. They have a keen sense of smell. Even if the smell is deliberately concealed by means, even if it is very weak, they will be sniffed out and can be tracked over a long distance. The man is a GU master of the Jong family, and the vessel in his hand is called a GU plate. Through some preliminary measures, he has established contact with the sniffing bug. Later, the information detected by the sniffing bug will be known to him in real time. These methods are quite mysterious. The sniffing bugs on the ground immediately got into the ground as if they had received some instructions. If you could see through it at this time, you would be surprised to see the sniffing bugs burrowing forward underground at extremely fast speeds. In addition to their keen sense of smell, another ability is that they can burrow into the ground very quickly. It's true that for tracking targets, the speed must be fast. The GU master man simply sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, and felt the information that the sniffing insect had come into contact with. The sniffing insects entered the mountain, but the demonized plants were not found. Go all the way. Sniffing bugs pop up from time to time, collect information about the surrounding environment, and then move on. When you arrive at a certain location. The GU master man frowned. What's wrong? Zhang Mingxuan asked. The GU master man still closed his eyes, gathered some thoughts, and replied, back to the young master, in the mountain road, I detected a breath of strangers. Judging from the concentration of the remaining breath, it should have just passed by not long ago. Then there was another breath. Speaking of this, the GU master man looked puzzled, shook his head uncertainly, and said no more. What? Has anyone gone in? Zhang Mingxuan was shocked. At the same time, I also wondered how I got in. He came here early. Everyone had nothing to do with the demonized plants, and absolutely no one had gone in. Trace it quickly. Look where the source is. The GU master man knew what to do without Zhang Mingxuan's orders. This residual aura extends in two directions. One end is definitely the entrance, the direction from which the person came, and the other end is the direction from which the person is heading. No matter which end, you have to explore it. There were more than one sniffing bug released just now, so they were divided into two and tracked at the same time. Soon, one of the sniffing insects came to a cave. Moreover, Sniffing bugs focus on sniffing a certain location. That position was exactly where the bones were lying just now. Young master, a cave was found in the mountain. The GU master reported. What's so special? Zhang Mingxuan asked. I was still wondering just now. In addition to the living aura of people in the mountain road, there is also a dead aura. And in the cave, somewhere in it, I smelled this dead aura. And, that living aura, been here too. You mean? Zhang Mingxuan remembered what the GU master said just now, but he hesitated in the end. It's just that at that time, Zhang Mingxuan focused all his attention on the point that someone has been in, and ignored other information. Yes, I seriously suspect that there was a body here originally, but now it has been moved away. At this point, the situation is very clear. The person who moved the body was the person who just entered. But now, people have probably left. Why were the bodies removed? Could it be necrophilia? Who is the corpse? A series of questions burst into Zhang Mingxuan's mind. In the end, they all point to one name, Boffin. Chase, track me quickly. Zhang Mingxuan almost shouted these words. As soon as he finished speaking, the GU master man immediately replied, I have found the exit and am following it. Previously, the sniffing insect soldiers divided into two groups, one going to Dongting, and the other, just at this time, they tracked the exit. Let's follow too. Zhang Mingxuan gave the order and the three of them hurriedly set out on the road. Under the leadership of the GU master man, they first came to the back of the mountain. This is the entrance to the cave. The GU master man lifted up the thick hanging vine, revealing the hole hidden underneath. There is actually this second entrance, and it is so secretive. How on earth did that person find it? Zhang Mingxuan felt unable to understand. If it weren't for the sniffing bugs, they wouldn't have found it anyway. Without staying here too long, the three of them continued on their way. Yi Feng sighed. After leaving the cave, I found a suitable place to bury Boffin. A hole was dug in the ground, Boffin's bones were lowered, and then the soil was buried again. For Boffin, he has spent his whole life studying demonized plants, and the secret green space is a place he often comes to. Because this is a paradise for plants, there are also many demonized plants, and there are enough samples for him to study. So when he was dying, he finally chose to die in the green secret realm. Burying him in this secret realm is in line with his will. After the burial, Yi Feng dusted himself off and was about to leave. Suddenly, a slight vibration came from the nearby ground, which attracted Yi Feng's attention. For warriors, their perception is extremely sensitive, and any disturbance in the surroundings can basically be detected as long as they observe carefully. Whoosh! Yi Feng suddenly stabbed the long knife in his hand, nailing it directly to the ground, and then lifted it up. A black worm that had been broken into two parts was picked up by Yi Feng. Insect. The existence of bugs in the soil seems to be quite normal. But at that moment, Yi Feng always felt as if he was being targeted by someone. This unreasonable sixth sense is gradually cultivated in life and death fights. Yi Feng has thousands of life and death fight experiences. His perception in this area is relatively sharp and the probability of making mistakes is relatively low. Yi Feng doesn't know the specific reason, but there must be something wrong, and this insect may be unusual. As soon as I thought of this, the answer appeared by itself. A group of 3 people behind him approached with a clear purpose. Yi Feng recognized these 3 people and had met them twice before. The first time was outside the secret realm, and the second time was at the entrance of the cave where the demonized plants existed. Now, it's the third time. Although they have not met each other before, they are already familiar with each other after meeting several times. Yi Feng recognized them, and they also recognized Yi Feng, knowing that they had seen such a person before. I didn't expect that you found the second entrance in just a short time. I almost admire you. How did you do it? Zhang Mingxuan looked at Yi Feng, his tone was curious, and he also looked at the soil on the ground with traces of turning. It can be said that it only took Yi Feng a short time to find the second entrance, because when Yi Feng arrived at the entrance of the demonized plant cave, he noticed it. After a while, Yi Feng left. He didn't think much about it, thinking it was just a simple matter. He left and unexpectedly headed to the second entrance. Yi Feng did not answer, but asked, "You found me because of this black bug?" Yi Feng doesn't know who the other party is, but he must be evil. Yi Feng is ready to fight at any time. Do you know how much effort and cost it takes to cultivate a sniffing bug? How dare you kill it? Seeing the sniffing bugs that had been broken into 2 parts, the GU Master Man's expression was gloomy and uncertain. No wonder one of the sniffing bugs had suddenly lost its connection with him. It turns out this thing is called a sniffer bug. Yi Feng murmured softly, and he was sure that this thing was following him, allowing the 3 of them to follow him all the way. Sure enough, the world is so big and full of wonders, but methods like this are still quite difficult to deal with. Yi Feng had been as cautious as possible and did not hesitate to take away all the bodies, but he was still discovered and followed by this method. Yi Feng couldn't prevent this. How could he have imagined that the other party had such means? I am looking for you now with only one purpose, to hand over Mu Buffin's research results. Zhang Mingxuan stopped talking nonsense and went straight to the point. I didn't get any research results. Yi Feng said. Do you think I will believe it? Zhang Mingxuan said coldly. Master, there's no need to talk nonsense to him, I'll kill him right now and let's get it ourselves. The strong man accompanying him suddenly shouted loudly and attacked Yi Feng with a knife. Zhang Mingxuan didn't stop him and tried Yi Feng's strength first. Boom! Yi Feng's energy and blood burst out, and Zhang Mingxuan noticed the general's initial aura. Tisk, you're just in the early stages of becoming a general. Zhang Mingxuan was completely relieved. His follower alone, with his late-stage military general strength, was enough to crush Yi Feng. However, when the distance between the 2 people was close and they were about to fight each other, Zhang Mingxuan's expression changed in surprise. Careful, you can see that Yi Feng's long sword carries infinite power and sharp edge. It seems like an ordinary sword, but it contains infinite mysteries. Unstoppable, totally unstoppable. No, the attendant screamed in fear, the long knife wiped his neck, and a red bloodline emerged. His body froze, his movements stopped, and he fell to the ground. Yi Feng calmly put away his knife and stood. Yi Feng was not surprised at all to be able to kill the opponent instantly with one strike. With the blessing of 30% of the sword intention, it would be unreasonable if he couldn't kill him instantly with one strike. The intention of the sword. The attack actually carries the intention of the sword. And at least 30% less. How is this possible? How is this possible? Zhang Mingxuan was extremely shocked. A young general can actually comprehend 30% of the sword's meaning. In his early stage as a mighty king of martial arts, he also used a sword, and he was only able to comprehend the meaning of the sword. Why can an early-stage military commander understand 30% of the sword's intention? HMPH. Even if you have 30% sword intention, but your realm is too low, you will still die. Zhang Mingxuan's tone was cold. What he said was correct. The gap in realm was too large, which would bring about crushing in all aspects. As the king of martial, his energy and blood are much stronger than those of the generals, the martial arts he performs are of a higher level, his power is greater, and his combat experience is richer than that of the generals. Of course, the aspect of rich combat experience does not apply to Yi Feng. However, the crushing of qi and blood still exists, there is no doubt about this. Although there is an advantage in terms of sword intent, it is still weak to deal with King Wu in the early stage of the general. Suffer death. Zhang Mingxuan's powerful momentum in the early stage of King Wu was thick and huge, and was released without reservation. Yi Feng narrowed his eyes, his fighting spirit soaring. Early stage of King Wu. Very good. I'm just looking for a stronger opponent to test my current strength. Blood Spear Shira. The spear appeared. At this moment, Yi Feng's pupils glowed with a strange red light. The black and purple spear was also coated with a layer of blood. The whole personality changes. A second ago, he was just a normal warrior in the general realm. The next second, the air of blood evil filled the air, and the murderous intent was so strong that it was outrageous, just like a butcher walking out of the Shira field. The oncoming indifference was as cold as winter and bone-chilling. Soul Master. You are still a Soul Master. Zhang Mingxuan was shocked. He was well informed and immediately recognized that the ability Yi Feng was displaying at this moment was that of a Soul Master. As his thoughts floated, the spear turned into a bloody stream of light and was already killing him. Without thinking too much, Zhang Mingxuan held a sword to resist, and even used the sword's intention to support him. Bang! A huge force came, making the tiger's mouth numb. Thump thump thump. Zhang Mingxuan took several steps back. That's not all. Even if the attack was blocked, there was an invisible penetrating force that ignored the weapon's block and hit him directly in the chest. Zhang Mingxuan's face turned pale, a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth, and his expression became extremely serious. The Soul Master's attack is really unpredictable. In a head-to-head fight, he actually came up short. This can't go on. He aimed his gaze at Yifeng. Whoosh! Using his body skills, King Wu's speed was astonishing and he quickly approached Yifeng. If the Soul Master's attack is difficult to deal with, then kill the Soul Master directly and everything will be over. His idea was very beautiful, but unfortunately, he underestimated the flying speed of Yifeng's spear. Under the control of Yifeng, the spear caught up with him almost in the blink of an eye. Feeling the looming crisis, Zhang Mingxuan had no choice but to stop and deal with it. The two sides fought each other with all their strength, and the ripples of energy generated by the collision knocked down several giant trees around them. And once it was hit by the attack from the front, the entire giant tree exploded, turning into sawdust and splattering, and the scene was once filled with sand and rocks. So strong. The Gu Master Man was severely shocked by the scene in front of him. Zhang Mingxuan is the son of the head of the Jong family. He has outstanding talent since he was a child and has extremely high martial arts qualifications. At a young age, he has practiced to become the king of martial arts. From childhood to adulthood, he has gone through many battles and has never been defeated. However, such a genius was suppressed and beaten today and fell into a disadvantage. Could it be that we can only use that trump card? Zhang Mingxuan has tried his best, but he is still unable to defeat him. If this continues, he will definitely die. But that trump card has too many side effects. Once used, it will have an impact on his martial arts foundation, and he will be weak for a long time and need to be nursed back to health for a long time. I don't care. I'm going to lose my life. How can I care about the future? Zhang Mingxuan took out a red pill and swallowed it immediately. Boom! The majestic and violent energy exploded instantly in his body, almost bursting him. Ah! Zhang Mingxuan was like a wild beast, with a ferocious face and roaring loudly. The muscles in the body bulged, and the meridians exploded one by one, like water pipes. Some even burst open, and the blood surged. His aura suddenly surged to the peak of King Wu in just a short moment. What kind of pill is that? So powerful. Yifeng was surprised. Call out. The spear shot quickly. However, this time, he was cut off by Zhang Mingxuan. The moment it was cut off, the magic-breaking spear decomposed into energy, and then reunited to form a spear. Yifeng attracted the demon-breaking gun and looked at Zhang Mingxuan with a solemn expression. Although the Soul Soldier is not afraid of being broken, for the Soul Master, the soul power is attached to the Soul Soldier, and every time it is destroyed, it will cause a certain amount of damage to the Soul Master. For example, at this time, Yifeng's head buzzed, and he felt severe pain. Fortunately, the injury was not serious and he recovered quickly. He. Did you still think you would be my opponent? You forced me to use this last resort. Next, you are waiting to bear my anger. I will let you know what life is worse than death. Boom! Zhang Mingxuan exerted force under his feet, with terrifying force, creating a huge pit in the ground. His whole body was like an out-of-barreled cannonball, rushing towards Yifeng at an incredible speed. So fast, Yifeng's eyes suddenly widened. With this speed and strength, he will not be his opponent. Can't beat, can't escape. What to do? As his thoughts flashed, Zhang Mingxuan's ferocious face appeared in front of Yifeng. Die! The long knife struck Yifeng with supreme power. Boom! After the knife was passed, dust and sawdust flew into the air. Several giant trees hugging each other behind Yifeng were all split into two, with neat and smooth cuts. The confident look on Zhang Mingxuan's face suddenly solidified. He looked up suddenly. High in the sky, Yifeng stepped on the magic gun and looked down at him. At the critical moment just now, Yifeng suddenly thought of whether he could make the magic-breaking gun fly and then fly with him. Sure enough, he escaped Zhang Mingxuan's attack. Although King Wu is powerful, he cannot fly. Boom! Zhang Mingxuan bent his legs and jumped suddenly. The ground sank into a big pit again. The strong force made him jump dozens of meters high. But there was still a long way to go before Yifeng, so he had no choice but to fall again. He thought about using the tops of nearby trees as a jumping-off point, but Yifeng had already thought about it, so he flew very high at this time. Get down here. Zhang Mingxuan gritted his teeth. Yifeng took out his ears and looked at him leisurely, smiling and saying nothing. After a while, Yifeng seemed to have eyes on his back, and he turned around with a knife. Several brightly colored ghost-patterned sword wasps that stabbed hard with their sharp tail sting were killed by Yifeng and dropped. There is a GU master on the opposite side, and Yifeng has been on guard for a long time. The GU master man below said secretly that it was a pity. HMPH. You're lucky. I'll let you go today, but next time I encounter you, you won't be so lucky. After Zhang Mingxuan said these words, he took the GU master man with him and hurriedly evacuated. But soon, he discovered something was wrong. Look up. Grass. Sure enough, Yifeng followed him high in the sky. Wherever he goes, Yifeng follows him. Don't be ungrateful and shameless. If you offend me, I won't leave. Let's see if you can stay high in the sky. As far as I know, a soul master's soul power will weaken as it is consumed. When your soul power becomes weak and you cannot stay high in the sky, you will die. Zhang Mingxuan's tone was fierce and threatening. Let's see whether you get weaker faster or I get weaker faster. Yifeng said with a half smile. Methods that can instantly improve your realm basically have side effects. The more you improve, the greater the side effects. Even though he is so fierce now, he is actually just a 3-second man and will soon be weak. That's why he ran away in despair. I am afraid that after becoming weak, I will no longer be my opponent, so I need to run now. When Yifeng said these words, Zhang Mingxuan looked unnatural and hesitantly retorted, Why am I weak? I'm not. Before he finished speaking, a feeling of weakness came over him, and all the strength in his body seemed to be drained away. Zhang Mingxuan's face was pale and his figure was swaying. He didn't even have the strength to stand, so he slumped down. Quick, take me and run. Zhang Mingxuan became anxious and urged the GU master man beside him. Before he could make any move, Yifeng had already landed. No, you can't kill me. I am the young master of the Zhong family, and my Zhong family is the top family. There are as many strong people as there are. If you kill me, they will never let you go. For the first time, Zhang Mingxuan felt that death was so close to him. As early as the discovery of Mu Buffin's burial place, he had already notified the family for reinforcements. Now he only hopes that the family masters can arrive in time. It sounds like if I don't kill you, I will let you go. Yifeng sneered, raised the knife and dropped it. Zhang Mingxuan, a dignified martial arts king and a famous martial arts genius, was killed by Yifeng. The nearby GU masters were too frightened to move. He is good at raising voodoos, but they can't do anything to Yifeng. In terms of martial arts strength, he is only at the martial arts master level and is no match for Yifeng. Besides waiting to die, he was still waiting to die. His heart was filled with despair. Yifeng did not kill him immediately, but put a knife on his neck and said coldly, "You'd better answer the questions I ask you honestly." "Yes, please ask me. As long as I know, I will tell you honestly," GU master said tremblingly. Other side, there is a cave with demonized plants. A team of several people came in a hurry. The leader's aura was extremely powerful. When facing him, it was like a majestic mountain bearing down on him, making it difficult to breathe. No matter who was present, no matter how arrogant he usually was, he turned to the dog with his tail between his legs and did not dare to look at this person. This person is actually a strong martial artist. In the woods, Yifeng was thoughtful. The GU master man had just been interrogated and asked a lot of information about the Zhong family. For example, some masters from the Zhong family have already arrived, perhaps already there, and they are led by a strong man from the Wuzong. There are even stronger masters in the Zhong family, such as the martial master realm. Such a family is not something that the current Yifeng can compete with. I also asked about the poisonous insects. How long will it take for the sniffing insects to be unable to smell the smell I left? Yifeng asked. At least more than a day. The GU master man replied. Then if I fly away, can I still be tracked? Yifeng asked again. How can you fly? The GU master man said subconsciously. To have the ability to fly, one must be above the martial emperor, which is a terrifying existence. But as soon as the words left his mouth, he remembered, didn't Yifeng fly just now? Although it was not real flying, it was achieved with the help of soul weapons. The smell can stay in the air for a short time, and will be quickly washed away by the airflow, and then it cannot be traced. After receiving this affirmative answer, Yifeng finally felt relieved. Otherwise, being chased and bitten by the Jong family would be a bit overwhelming. I've said everything I need to say, please spare me. The GU master man begged for mercy. Spare you? Yifeng smiled sarcastically. The sword flashed and blood flew out. The GU master man's eyes widened, he covered his neck and slowly fell down. As an enemy, how can I let you go? Yifeng searched all the useful things from several people. If it had been just now, Yifeng might not have done this just to be on the safe side. But now, I know that the smell is in the air and cannot stay for long, so it will be fine if I take the things away. If something can be tracked, then Yifeng himself will also be tracked. Yifeng stepped on the magic gun again, flew high and left here. After these things, Yifeng became more and more aware of the huge benefits of soul masters. Over there in the demonized plant cave, several blood-mouthed piranha plants have been killed by the Jong family's team of experts. Unfortunately, this type of demonized plant didn't have much value, and they didn't even bother to collect the corpses. Instead, I checked carefully to see if there were any seedlings or seeds nearby. If there were seedlings or seeds, they would be precious, but unfortunately there were none. Third Elder, when Master Minguin contacted me, he mentioned this location, but he could not be found nearby and could not be contacted. One of the Jong family members said to the powerful Wuzong leader. This strong man from the Wuzong, named Zhang He, is the third elder of the Jong family and Zhang Minguin's uncle. Let's take a look at the cave first. Under the leadership of Zhang He, the group walked into the cave. Finally, we came to Dongting. Where was the promised burial place of Boffin? Why is it so empty? There is nothing. Zhang He frowned and ordered, send out the sniffing bugs and let me investigate. A Zhong family GU master came out and released the sniffing insects prepared in advance. I soon gained something and found the remaining breath. Follow all the way and come outside. Third Elder, there is another exit, and we discovered outside that the auras of Master Minguin and the two accompanying him were all going in the same direction, the GU master reported. Chase. The Zhong family and his party followed him all the way. After a while, several corpses came into view in front of him. Oxuan, Master, who is it? Who did it? He actually killed my good nephew. If you dare to kill my Zhong family, I will never let him go. Keep tracking me. We must find this murderer. I will eat him alive and cut him into pieces with 1,000 knives. Zhang He's eyes were about to burst, his eyes were red, and he almost burst out of fire. Hurry up and track him down. Zhang He yelled at the GU master. Third Elder, we can't trace him, the murderer's aura has disappeared. The GU master said with a grimace. Disappeared? How did it disappear? Zhang He asked. I don't know. It stopped when we got here. I suspect that the other party may have flown away, so the breath cannot be retained for too long. The GU master made a guess. Impossible. A warrior who can fly is at least a martial emperor. What is a strong martial emperor doing in the Green Secret Realm? Zhang He didn't believe it. Besides, it is impossible for Zhang Minguin to offend such a powerful person. Wait, he can fly, could he be a soul master? Zhang He suddenly thought of this possibility. Soul masters with a certain level of strength have strong enough soul power to fly with themselves with the help of flying soul soldiers. Zhang He knows this, and it is also a major difficulty for soul masters. But these fatal injuries seem to have been caused by a warrior. He is both a warrior and a soul master. Zhang He felt his mind was in chaos. Record the characteristics of the murderer's breath for me. Zhang He asked. Yes, GU master responded. Quick, follow me back to the teleportation point. Let's block it outside the secret realm. He felt that the murderer might not have left the secret place yet. As long as you go out before the murderer, wait outside and check the people who leave the secret realm. When someone with the same breath characteristics appears, there is no doubt that he is the murderer. What they didn't know was that Yifeng had already arrived at the teleportation point. A suction force acted on Yifeng, gradually strengthening. At this time, if you stay away from here, the transmission can be aborted. Yi Feng allowed the suction to strengthen. When it reached a certain critical point, he was sucked away and disappeared into the secret realm. After another teleportation process, Yi Feng was teleported outside. There was no one outside at this time. Yi Feng still stood on the magic breaking gun, flying towards the distance and disappearing into the distance. Wait until all the smell in the air disappears. Jong and his party just came out of the secret realm. Third Elder, no trace of the murderer has been found outside yet. The GU master reported. Okay, let's wait outside here, Jong said. Yi Feng flew for a certain distance and felt that he couldn't hold on any longer. Due to excessive consumption of soul power, he had a splitting headache, flew unsteadily, and almost fell from a high altitude. I had no choice but to come down immediately and return to the ground. This place is at least dozens of miles away from the entrance to the Green Secret Realm, so Yi Feng can rest peacefully for a while. Wait until your condition recovers a bit before heading back to school. Yi Feng found a big tree and sat down with his back against it. During the break, I opened Mu Buffin's research diary and started reading, focusing on the ones related to Yunsang Vang. After 1,302 experiments, we finally found that the solution to promote the germination of the seeds of the mulberry vine requires the use of 5 materials including wood marrow crystals, source soil. Stir to make seedling soil, bury the seeds in it, and then follow the instructions at a certain interval, irrigate a certain amount of alien blood. The content inside is written in great detail. There are not only seed cultivation plans, but also subsequent growth plans. Each plan was discovered by chance after hundreds or thousands of studies. Seeing this, Yi Feng admired him from the bottom of his heart. This Mu Buffin was really extraordinary. It's a pity that he was poisoned and died unexpectedly, otherwise his achievements would be far more than this. Yi Feng read the information about Yunsang Vine more carefully. For other types, just take a quick look at them temporarily. If you need to use them in the future, you can take a closer look at them. When you turn to the last page of the book, the handwriting changed from black ink to red. No, it's not red ink, this is blood. These words are all written with blood. Hatred. I am immortal, I wish I could eat the Jong family's flesh. Drink the Jong family's blood. At the beginning of the text, a strong hatred, spanning 20 years, rushes towards me. Are the Jong family in the article the same as the Jong family that I just offended? Yi Feng then looked down. The Jong family, in order to obtain my research results, intercepted and killed me several times. Fortunately, I have many demonized plants, and I was able to escape several times, and killed many of their masters, including King Wu and even King Wu. Unfortunately, I am alone and weak. After all, I can't defeat them. Many powerful demonized plants died due to the fight, and they were plotted by their poisonous GU insects. I couldn't escape death. I'm not sure whose hands my research results will eventually fall into. Anyway, just don't be those beasts from the Jong family. However, my god-eating moss seedlings were taken away by them. I just hope that they can't find a cultivation plan. Otherwise, with the Jong family's ambition, letting the god-eating moss grow will be a disaster for this world. This is the end of Words in Blood. You can feel Mu Buffin's unwillingness, hatred, and helplessness from it. The article mentions highly poisonous voodoo insects. Zhang Mingxuan's Zhang family also has a tradition of cultivating voodoos. It is probably the same Zhang family. It's really a narrow road for enemies. What worries Yi Feng the most is the god-eating moss mentioned in it. Yi Feng immediately turned back to the previous page of the book, where there was an introduction to the god-eating moss, which was also Mu Buffin's last research. God-eating moss is a type of moss that can continuously reproduce, grow and expand. It is highly poisonous. It is said that it has grown to its limit. The overwhelming god-eating moss is like a turbulent wave. Wherever it passes, there is only dead silence. Even the gods or it can be swallowed, hence its name. God-eating moss is the most advanced type of demonized plants that Mu Buffin has obtained in his life. Unfortunately, before it could grow up, something unexpected happened, and the god-eating moss seedlings were taken away by the Zhang family. No wonder the Zhang family tried so hard to find Mu Buffin's burial place, just to find a breeding plan to cultivate the god-eating moss. Judging from the research diary, Mu Buffin has done some research on god-eating moss. Fortunately, these researches have not fallen into the hands of the Zhang family. 20 years have passed and I haven't heard of any major incident involving the god-eating moss in the Jong family. Maybe it wasn't cultivated. If the god-eating moss seedlings are still in the hands of the Jong family and are still alive, Yifeng must find a way to get the god-eating moss. Having almost rested enough, Yifeng was ready to return. Suddenly, the long-lost clue to the treasure chest popped up again. Treasure box clue. A red treasure box appears in the Jong family mansion. Please go and open it. Red treasure chest. Yifeng's breath was stagnant. That's a 6th-level treasure chest. At the right time, a line of red arrows appeared on the ground, heading in a certain direction. It seems that the Jong family and I must face each other. Whether it was for enmity just now, for getting the god-eating moss, or for opening the red treasure chest, conflict with the Jong family was inevitable in the end. However, the Jong family is too powerful, so how to open this treasure chest requires careful planning. Let's go back first. After traveling for a while, Yifeng returned to the provincial capital. Find Ankang Pharmacy and give them 10 Qingfengsao. Yifeng's mission was completed. The other herbal medicines obtained were also sold to drugstores for a total of 300,000 yuan. For ordinary people, 300,000 yuan is considered a huge amount of money, but for warriors, it can only be said to be not bad. In addition, the items obtained from several members of the Jong family were also sold on the black market, selling for a total of 6 million. The most precious one among them is Zhang Mingxuan's battle knife, which has a grade of level 4. This knife alone has sold for 5 million. Yifeng also used a knife. He could have used it himself, but thinking that it was Zhang Mingxuan's weapon and would be easily recognized, he decided to sell it. With this money, just buy a new one. Yifeng went to a large equipment mall and after some selection, he finally spent 6 million and bought a brand new one. This knife is made from the bones of a king-level beast. It has a very hard texture and a beautiful shape. Such a 4th-level sword is enough to be used to the martial king realm. Earn money quickly and spend money faster. Yifeng sighed. Just a weapon can easily cost millions, which is really not affordable for ordinary people. If it is a more advanced weapon, it will be even more expensive. As he approached Longtang Academy, Yifeng received a reminder that the task was completed and the credits were received. Finally reached 10,000 credits. Yifeng walked into the school and immediately attracted a lot of attention. Now Yifeng is a famous person. He punched Zhao Shang hundreds of times in an instant before and knocked him into a coma. He still hasn't woken up yet. He also heard that he was incontinent. How can he be miserable? The video of the battle has long been circulated in the campus online forum, and almost all teachers and students have seen it. Under the gaze of everyone, Yifeng walked into the Shengshe Hall. This is the place to apply and advance to student level. There is a tutor wearing glasses sitting inside, responsible for reviewing applications. Teacher, I would like to apply for promotion to senior student. Yifeng explained his intention. Senior student, that requires 10,000 credits. You can apply again when you have saved up enough. The review instructor said subconsciously. Yifeng was very popular recently, and he happened to recognize it. In just a few days, he felt that it was impossible for Yifeng to accumulate enough 10,000 credits. I have 10,000 credits now. Yifeng said. What? The review instructor was surprised and immediately made inquiries. Sure enough, 10,000 credits, no more, no less. After being stunned for several seconds, he took a deep look at Yifeng and said, okay, I will promote you to the student level. The operation is also simple. Modify the school information, Yifeng's identity, and the junior student to become a senior student. The admission period is June 20th, and today is June 30th. In just 10 days, he was promoted from a junior student to a senior student, completing a journey that would take others at least a year. He is the student who has been promoted the fastest in so many years. After Yifeng leaves, many students outside poured in. What's the situation? There are so many of you, are you all applying for promotion? The review instructor was surprised that they were all gathered together. No, we are just curious. Did Yifeng come in just now and apply for promotion to a senior student? They saw Yifeng come in and leave quickly. They had already made some guesses in their minds and found it unbelievable, so they came in to confirm. Yes, the review instructor nodded. Now the information has been updated, you can check it yourself. Students' grade information does not involve privacy, can be displayed publicly, and can be queried. They immediately checked online. Yifeng, senior student. Really a senior student. All the students present were extremely surprised. Many of them didn't even have 1 credit, but Yifeng saved enough 10,000 and was promoted to a senior student. Comparing people with others will lead to death, and comparing goods with goods will lead to throwing away. After Yifeng left the Shengshe Hall, walking towards Su Chanyi, now that he is a senior student, he can report to her and become her student. The blue arrow on the ground extends all the way to the advanced student teaching area. When Yifeng arrived at the advanced student teaching area, he did not see Su Chanyi. The blue arrow did not stop and continued to extend forward. Yifeng continued to follow up. In the end, it actually extended outside the school, with no end in sight. Su Chanyi is not at school. Are you, classmate Yifeng? A female senior instructor saw Yifeng and asked. She was also one of the mentors who watched the battle that day, and was deeply impressed by Yifeng. Yes, mentor, Yifeng replied. What seems to be the matter with you? She asked. I came here to see instructor Su Chanyi, but she doesn't seem to be here. Yifeng asked. She went out 2 days ago and will probably be back soon. She has a good relationship with Su Chanyi and knows that this is the case. After saying that, he asked casually, you are coming to see her now? Are you already a senior student? Yes, Yifeng nodded. After receiving Yifeng's affirmative answer, the female instructor looked at Yifeng in surprise. After many years of teaching at Longtang Academy, this is the first time I have encountered such a talented student. If he hadn't had a good relationship with Su Chanyi, he would have started poaching now. Since he was not at school, Yifeng had to wait. Taking advantage of this time, Yifeng prepared to collect materials and cultivate Yunsang vine seeds. A total of 5 materials are needed to make seedling soil. Wood marrow crystal, source of soil, slightly. Among them, raw source soil and the other 3 types can be purchased in the market. Even in schools, you can use credits to exchange for various materials, including these 4. For Yifeng, it is not cost-effective to redeem the credits for cheats. If the cheats you redeem can be sold outside, you can also exchange them for money. Unfortunately, this is not possible. Doing so is illegal and you can only practice and use it yourself. Yifeng always has treasure chests that can be opened, and he will always find the skills in martial arts, and he can directly realize them to perfection, which is much faster than practicing, so there is no need to exchange the secret books and practice on his own. Then use it for redemption. There are 4 materials that can be redeemed. Otherwise, if you spend money to buy it, the price will be very high and you will need to spend a lot of money. According to the proportion given by Boffin, how much material is needed can be exchanged in proportion to be enough. These materials are relatively rare, and the redemption price is also expensive, costing a total of 3,000 credits. The student level is based on the total number of credits recorded. Regardless of whether they are spent or not, they will not be downgraded. After exchanging the 4 materials, there are only 2 things left, which require the material, wood marrow crystal, and the blood of alien beasts used to irrigate the seeds. You can get the blood of alien beasts by yourself by going out and hunting. Mainly wood marrow crystals, which are relatively difficult to obtain. There is currently no stock on the market, and you can't exchange it at the school, so you have to go out and look for it yourself. Yifeng inquired about information about the wood marrow crystal, and finally learned that there was a chance to obtain this thing in the Misty Forest. The Misty Forest is very well known, and Yifeng knows it without looking up. It is shrouded in fog all year round, and it is very easy to get lost when entering it. You need to be very alert to avoid getting lost in it. Yifeng is going to wait for Su Chanyi to come back, report to her, become her student, and see if there is any chance to open the blue treasure chest on her body. Then set off to the Misty Forest to find the wood marrow crystal. 3 days passed while waiting. In the past 3 days, Yifeng not only read Boffin's diary to learn more about demonized plants, but also read another book. Detailed explanation of raising GU. This was found from the man who was a GU master in the Jong family. It contained a lot of knowledge about cultivating GU. After reading it, Yifeng had a better understanding of cultivating GU. It would be good to know more about it, and it might be useful to deal with the Jong family in the future. Su Chani hasn't come back yet. The blue arrow pointing to Su Chani has changed frequently in the past few days, but the general direction has not changed. It's like moving back and forth in the same area. Yi Feng felt confused and went to the previous female tutor again to ask about the situation. But the answer she got was that she couldn't contact Su Chani. What happened? Yi Feng frowned. At this moment, the blue arrow on the ground changed to a certain extent again. As long as he can move, it at least means that the person is still alive. He may have been delayed by something. Yi Feng did not intend to wait any longer. Get on the road first and head to the Misty Forest. Coincidentally, the direction pointed by the blue arrow is the direction of the Misty Forest. If you're lucky, you might meet Su Chani on her way back. At the same time, in a dense forest somewhere, there are towering ancient trees, and the air is filled with thick white fog. The vision is not clear, seriously affecting people's senses. Every step you take here, you have to be careful, not only to identify the direction, but also to be careful of snakes, insects, rats, ants, and some highly poisonous plants. A woman with a powerful figure and a beautiful face is located in this dense forest. If Yi Feng were here right now, he would definitely recognize that this woman is Su Chani. At this time, Su Chani was in a bit of a bad state. Her cheeks were hot and flushed. I don't know if it was because she had just started the technique or for other reasons. Her pretty eyebrows were furrowed, solemn and filled with resentment, and she turned her head to look in a certain direction. Get up again and leave the place quickly. After hurriedly walking, Yi Feng came to the edge of the Misty Forest. At a glance, the boundless forest was shrouded in thick white fog, making it impossible to see clearly what was going on inside. This is the case here all year round. No one knows the reason. It is also somewhat magical. It is a well-known and dangerous place. Dangerous place contains two meanings, danger and adventure. Along the way, I didn't meet Su Chani. Yi Feng glanced at the ground. The blue arrow was still on the ground, extending all the way into the Misty Forest. It cannot be determined from this that Su Chani is also in the Misty Forest, maybe further away, but in this direction. Taking a deep breath, Yi Feng stepped into the Misty Forest, and his whole body was enveloped in white mist. This white mist will actually affect perception to a certain extent. When a warrior observes the surrounding environment, he not only relies on his eyes, but other body senses are also involved. For example, ears, nose, and even air convection and the touch brought to the skin are all ways for warriors to observe the world. This method is called perception. I thought that the white fog affected vision and made it easier for people to get lost. Only after being immersed in the scene did I realize that a whole set of perceptions had been affected. For example, the sound coming from the surrounding environment, under the influence of white fog, makes it difficult to distinguish the specific location. This blue arrow has become my guidepost. Yi Feng discovered that no matter how the white fog affected his perception, he could just follow the blue arrows without thinking and he would be sure not to circle in circles. Follow the blue arrow and move forward. The fog is thick and shrouded in this dense forest. Yi Feng was walking inside. From time to time, there are some strange sounds coming from the surroundings. I don't know what is coming from it, and it is difficult to tell from which direction it comes. Yi Feng is more focused and pays attention to all changes in the environment. Once any unexpected changes occur, we can respond promptly. As soon as the thought arises, something strange happens. Whoosh! A venomous snake ejected from the nearby tree crown, opened its mouth, and bit Yi Feng. Yi Feng instinctively drew his sword and struck, and the sword light drew a beautiful arc. The poisonous snake was cut in two by Yi Feng's sword. It fell to the ground and continued to twist and struggle. After a while, it gradually became silent. Situations like this are quite common here. It doesn't stop here, but wherever there are many snakes, insects, rats and ants, people may be suddenly attacked by them when they move around. Lying in disguise and then suddenly attacking are the common tricks of this kind of creature. Yi Feng followed the blue arrow and continued to move forward, while looking for the wood marrow crystal. The method is also simple. You only need to pay attention to where the trees are larger and attract creatures. If you move around nearby, you may find wood marrow crystals. Because, here in the Misty Forest, there is a kind of pith tree. When it grows to a certain year, a liquid will be produced in the trunk. As time goes by, the liquid condenses into a solid, which is the wood marrow crystal. Some creatures like the smell of wood pith crystals. Where there are wood pith crystals, there may be creatures wandering nearby. I don't know how long I walked before there was sudden movement from ahead. Yifeng slowed down, used some grass and shrubs as a cover to hide his figure, and slowly approached. Finally, it stopped somewhere. Through the gaps between the branches and leaves, Yifeng saw a huge pith tree not far ahead. I'm afraid not, it's at least 300 years old. Judging from the thickness, this huge pith tree should be more than 300 years old. Those that are 100 years old will have the conditions to produce wood pith crystals, and those that are 300 years old will produce wood pith crystals of better quality. According to Boffin, using wood marrow crystals from a higher age has more nutrients and allows the mulberry vine to germinate and grow faster. That's it. But, dong dong dong, on the trunk of the giant tree, there is a group of saw-toothed woodpeckers. They are very large, with beaks more than 1 meter long. They peck at the trunk, and there is a sound of pecking wood. They are also a kind of strange beast, and their strength is almost at the warrior level, which is equivalent to the warrior level of a warrior. For Yifeng, it poses no threat at all. Yifeng appeared immediately and killed him. Shocked by the silence, the saw-toothed woodpeckers spread their wings and took off, reaching high in the sky, circling back and forth to observe the situation below. I saw a human being who came to the trunk of the tree, reached into the hole of the tree, and quickly took out pieces of wood marrow crystals. Those tree holes were not formed naturally, but they were made with great effort, for the sake of the wood marrow crystals inside. But now, this human being is completely at a disadvantage. Can this be tolerated? I definitely can't bear it. With a whoop, dozens of saw-wet woodpeckers swooped down from the sky. The sharp and jagged beak is like a sharp sword. Under the swooping effect of gravity acceleration, it carries the force of breaking through the air and stabs Yifeng. I didn't even bother to pay attention to you, but you still took the initiative to come to me. Since you're looking for death, I'll let you die. Condensation. The magic breaking spear appeared in the void. Boo-hoo-hoo. It burst out at a speed faster than that of a saw-toothed woodpecker, darting back and forth several times in the air. Dozens of woodpeckers fell from the sky like kites with broken strings. Bang 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 bang. The bird corpse fell to the ground. There were holes in the vital parts of the body. It was bleeding and twitching. After a while, there was no movement. Yifeng continued to dig for wood marrow crystals. This group of woodpeckers helped. Wherever they pecked, there were basically wood marrow crystals inside. Soon, Yifeng dug out everything he could, and the quantity was completely enough. It will probably take a long time for this tree to form wood marrow crystals next time. This time I came out just to find the wood marrow crystal. Now that I have found it, I should have gone back. But Yifeng was a little curious, where is Su Chani now? Following his thoughts, Yifeng moved forward a little further. We also discovered a phenomenon. The change range of the blue arrow is larger than before. From this, it can be concluded that the distance between the two parties is short enough. When the distance is far, even if Su Chani moves, the angle of Yifeng's arrow at this end will change relatively little. Now that the distance is close, if she moves casually, the change will be more obvious. Suddenly there was a movement nearby. Yifeng's whole body tensed up, the sword in his hand was placed in front of him, his soul power was running, and he was ready to use the magic breaking gun at any time. Whoosh! A fiery red figure quickly rushed out from the direction of the nearby dense grass. Su Chani. Seeing the other person's face clearly, Yifeng recognized him. This person was none other than Su Chani. The moment Su Chani saw Yifeng, she was also startled. A long knife with a fiery aura was aimed at Yifeng and struck at him. After seeing clearly that it was Yifeng, she quickly stopped. However, his body did not stop in time, and he collided with Yifeng. A wonderful feeling spread throughout Yifeng's body. Yifeng, why are you here? Su Chani was panting and quickly took a few steps back. With her cheeks flushed, she looked like a ripe peach waiting to be picked, making people want to take a bite. Logically speaking, with her majestic martial arts status, she would not be out of breath like this even if she ran continuously for most of the day. So why? Moreover, she looked a little embarrassed. In some places, her clothes, and even her close-fitting fiery red armor, had several cuts, exposing the snowy skin underneath. Whether it was an illusion or not, Yifeng always felt that something was wrong with Su Chani at this time. Especially when you look at yourself, why do you feel weird? Confused, Yifeng replied immediately. I came here to find some materials, but I didn't expect to meet here. Yifeng said half-truthfully. Just now, I had been following the arrow and running into Su Chani, which was actually expected. Su Chani nodded and was about to say something more when she suddenly thought of something and her expression became nervous. Now is not the time to chat, come with me. After saying that, no matter what, he grabbed Yifeng's arm and started to run away quickly. Seemingly worried that Yifeng would not be able to keep up with her, he hesitated for a moment, gritted his teeth, and hugged Yifeng, half-dragging and half-dragging him to run. Putting aside the accident of the collision just now, this was Yifeng's first time having close contact with a woman, especially a woman with a hot body and beautiful appearance. Feeling the delicate touch of his body, Yifeng's heartbeat accelerated slightly. As for Su Chani, her reaction was even greater than that of Yifeng. Her ears, which were already red, suddenly turned redder. She also clearly felt that her body temperature had risen a lot. This poison, Su Chani cursed secretly. If it weren't for the toxins in her body, she wouldn't be so embarrassed. Only by operating the exercises more carefully and suppressing certain thoughts did he gradually return to normal. The two of them ran away in the dense forest and moved forward quickly. Looking at Su Chani, who was so close, Yifeng had an idea. Such a great opportunity, why not try it again? Yifeng squinted and looked at Su Chani's abdomen. The blue treasure box was right in front of him, moving with Su Chani. I really didn't mean to eat you. Why did this blue treasure box grow on you? I had to find a way to open it. Before taking action, Yifeng thought to himself. The main thing is that the level of this treasure chest is not low. Reaching blue, it can definitely bring out good things. If it is a low-level one, such as white or yellow, it doesn't matter if it can be opened or not. The blue treasure chest must be opened. Thinking of this, Yifeng reached out and touched it intentionally or unintentionally. The moment her hand touched her abdomen, Su Chani's body trembled very obviously, as if she had received an electric shock. A certain thought that he had finally suppressed suddenly burst out, and he was almost uncontrollable. What are you doing? Su Chani shouted, with the resentment of a little woman in her eyes. God knew she had gone to great lengths to suppress the toxins in her body, and this guy came to cause trouble and almost made her lose control. No. There was a bug just now, I want to swat it away. Yifeng used a bad excuse. At the same time, I secretly sighed that this method really couldn't open the treasure chest. There are bugs, why didn't I notice them? Su Chani looked suspiciously at Yifeng up and down. If you weren't paying attention, you definitely didn't notice it. Yifeng said seriously. Su Chani nodded, thinking it made sense. She really didn't have any extra attention and was distracted by too many things. Okay, hurry up and get out of here. The two men stopped running. Su Chani started to drive Yifeng away. While speaking, his eyes were not on Yifeng, but he was paying attention to the surrounding movements. It seems that he is worried about the coming of some kind of danger. What about you? Yifeng asked, feeling that something must be wrong with Su Chani. She paused, I can't leave yet. Why? Yifeng was even more confused. From the look on her face, it was clear that she was avoiding something. I haven't been back for several days, so I probably just kept wandering around here. Yifeng doesn't think it's because Su Chani can't get out. It's just a misty forest, so it shouldn't be a problem for her. The real situation should be that she doesn't want to go out. What is the reason that makes her not want to leave here? It looked like he was running away from something, but he didn't want to leave here, and would rather be chased all the time. This approach would seem contradictory to anyone who sees it. Stop asking and leave quickly. If you don't leave, you will be implicated by me. As soon as she finished speaking, Su Chani's face changed and she cursed, he's here again. Run first, we'll talk later. Su Chani hugged Yifeng again and started a new round of escape. When the two figures disappeared into the mist in the forest. But a figure appeared in the original position. This figure was completely shrouded in black robes, making it difficult to see his specific face. He, you run and I chase. It's so interesting. I'm so excited. The voice of the man in black robe was dry, like rusty gears in the sand, harsh and unpleasant. He stuck out his tongue, salivating, feeling the smell in the air. Why is there an extra young man? He, I'm even more excited. After saying that, he chased in the direction the two left. Although he failed to catch it for the time being, he seemed to enjoy the fun of chasing his prey. Su Chani and Yifeng stopped somewhere, observed the surrounding environment. It should be safe here for the time being. After a while, we just remember to change places. She glared at Yifeng with her beautiful eyes. I told you to leave quickly, but you didn't listen. It's too late now. You can't leave even if you want to. When she blames people, her little expression is also very charming. How do I know what's going on with you? Yifeng spread his hands and looked innocent. Why don't you tell me what happened? Su Chani sighed, organized her words, and explained. A few days ago, I came out to look for something. But I didn't expect that I would be targeted by a dead pervert who kept following me. I rely on this Misty Forest to deal with him. If I leave the Misty Forest, he will definitely catch up with me. Hearing this, Yifeng suddenly realized, no wonder he always felt that Su Chani was wandering back and forth in the same area. Who is this person? Is he very strong? Even you are no match for him. Yifeng was surprised that Su Chani could only run away. It seemed that he was very strong. I don't know his specific identity, but he's just a pervert. In terms of strength, I briefly fought against him. He should be in the late stage of King Wu. Originally, with my strength in the middle stage of Martial King, I don't need to be so afraid of him. It's just that I accidentally got poisoned by him. Now I need to keep circulating my energy and blood to suppress the explosion of poison. In this way, I will not be able to exert my full strength, because once I exert my full strength, there will be no extra energy and blood to suppress the toxins in my body. It is precisely because of this that she needs to keep running away and dealing with things. What poison did you get? Yifeng asked. No wonder looking at Su Chani, she felt something was wrong, at least it was different from usual. It turned out to be poisoning. Su Chani faltered. Looking at her coy look, she seemed to find it difficult to speak. I'm trying to detoxify. There are many medicinal herbs in this Misty Forest. I've found some while wandering around. She changed the topic directly. However, there is one last herb left, called cliff flower, and I need its pollen. But in my current situation, it's not easy to get the cliff flower. Cliff flowers grow on cliffs, often in very steep places. In the past, even if it was a steep cliff, it would be no problem for the mighty King Wu. But now, most of Su Chani's energy and blood are used to suppress the toxins. It is not easy to use force, which may easily give the toxins a chance to explode. Once it breaks out, it is difficult to suppress it. Chapter 51. Yifeng thought for a while and said aloud. There is a cliff nearby. Just stay here and I will help you look for it. As long as we can, we must help. Mainly because Yifeng alone was unable to deal with that enemy. After Su Chani detoxifies and the two of them join forces, they should be able to kill the enemy. As for using the Soul Master's ability to fly, leave here now. At first glance, I thought it was a good idea. But if you think about it carefully, this method doesn't work. Let's not talk about whether it can still fly smoothly with one more person. Even if it can, it will consume a lot of soul power and the speed will be slowed down. Even if Yifeng flew alone without Su Chani, he would not be able to fly all the way back to the school from here. When the journey is long and the soul power is consumed too much, you must rest midway and descend to the ground. There will be a situation where you are flying in the sky and the enemy is chasing you on the ground. Unless you have unlimited soul power and can keep flying, you will definitely be caught eventually. So it doesn't mean that a soul master who can fly with the help of soul soldiers can be invincible under the martial emperor. As long as the enemy's movement speed is faster than the Soul Master's flying speed, the opponent can follow him all the way. Until the soul power is exhausted and has to come down, that is the time when the Soul Master will die. Without thinking any more, Yifeng immediately set off to the nearby cliff. If it is an ordinary forest, there may be no cliffs. Fortunately, the Misty Forest is located on a mountain range, so you can still find some cliffs. Not long after, Yifeng came to a nearby cliff. This cliff is nearly 100 meters high and almost vertical. Yifeng raised his head and glanced above. Soon, his eyes were fixed on a certain place. About 70 or 80 meters above the ground, a cluster of white flowers proudly takes root on the bare cliff. That's the cliff flower. Near the cliff flowers, there are several monkeys. Their hands and feet are agile, like top rock climbers. They firmly grasp some places on the cliff where they can use their strength to climb towards the cliff flowers. That's a cliff monkey. They have strong climbing skills and can come and go freely on vertical cliffs. Occasionally, you will slip up, but it is usually caused by fighting. If you climb well, nothing will happen. Cliff monkeys like to eat cliff flowers very much. If they are the first to eat cliff flowers, the cluster of cliff flowers will definitely become their lunch. Without hesitation, Yifeng mobilized his soul power and the demon-breaking spear appeared. Call out. The demon-breaking gun turned into a stream of light and shot away quickly. The sharp tip of the spear was suddenly nailed to the edge of the cliff flower bush. The entire bush of cliff flowers, including the flowers and soil, was pried off the cliff and fell freely. Yifeng, who was standing under the cliff, stretched out his hand to catch the cliff flower steadily. The demon-breaking gun also turned into energy and was taken back into his mind. A set of movements was completed smoothly and quickly, and all the cliff monkeys hanging on it were dumbfounded. Whoa, whoa! After reacting, he realized that Yahuwah had been robbed. He immediately screamed strangely and bared his teeth at Yifeng. Yifeng ignored them and left with Yahuwah, returning to Su Chanyi's place. Yahuwah brought it for you. Yifeng handed the cliff flower to Su Chanyi. So fast, Su Chanyi was surprised. It felt like Yifeng had only been away for a short while, but he found him unexpectedly. With Yahuwah, it should be able to detoxify, right? Yifeng asked. It should be fine. Su Chanyi nodded and continued, let's change places first. If you stay in one place for a while, you have to change places, otherwise you will be easily tracked by the enemy. The two hit the road again. Sure enough, shortly after the two left, a figure in black robe appeared here. He licked his lips obscenely, drooling everywhere. He really knows how to run. Where did he go? He also continued on the road to track. Yifeng and Su Chanyi ran a long distance and came to a cave. After making sure it was safe, Su Chanyi began to prepare the antidote. I took out all the dozens of herbs that I had collected. Recall in your mind the detoxification formula you have seen before, and prepare it according to the proportions. After the preparation is completed, part of it is taken internally, and the other part needs to be sprinkled into water for medicinal bathing. Attacking both internally and externally can detoxify quickly. You don't even know what kind of poison you were poisoned with. Are you sure the antidote prepared in this way will work? Yifeng watched her prepare the whole process and always felt a little unreliable. Could it be that this girl was so ill that she went to the doctor in a hurry? Who said I don't know what kind of poison I was poisoned with? Su Chanyi glanced at Yifeng, and without stopping, she took part of the antidote and swallowed it in one gulp. You know, why couldn't you tell me just now? So what kind of poison is it? Yifeng was curious and asked again and again. Okay, I'm going to take a medicinal bath. Su Chanyi once again changed the topic without saying anything. She walked towards the cave. There is a pool inside, which is not big, just like a bathtub, with clear water. Tick, tick. At the top of the cave, water has been seeping and dripping down into the pool. Because of this small pool was formed over time. Su Chanyi put the antidote into the pool and watched it slowly dissolve. Just as he was about to start taking a medicinal bath, he remembered that there was another person nearby. Are you just going to watch from the side? Su Chanyi looked at Yifeng and said angrily. I had prepared the medicated bath water and it was ready for soaking, but this guy didn't realize it at all and just stared there blankly. Still want to watch from the side? Aren't you going to watch? If something happens, Yifeng said. Only when you are here will something happen. Su Chanyi gritted her teeth. I really want to see this guy. I really don't know if this guy is too naive or if he's just too bold. She remembered that when she was running away with Yifeng in her arms, Yifeng touched her abdomen. At that time, Yifeng explained that it was because of insects. Thinking about it now, I always feel that it is not simple. Wait, hit the belly. Why does she feel that this scene is a bit familiar? After thinking about it for a moment, I quickly remembered. During the college entrance examination, she went to Linhai City to invigilate the exam. When she saw Yifeng, the guy suddenly made a big salute. His movements were extremely exaggerated, and he accidentally touched her abdomen. At that time, I thought this guy was more polite. Now it seems that it is not simple. Twice, is it really just an accident? Su Changyi began to doubt. He looked at Yifeng with extremely suspicious eyes. Well, this guy is quite handsome, if... Wait, how could I have such an idea? Stop, stop, stop. Is it because the poison didn't suppress it? You have obviously taken the antidote and it should start to take effect. Why do you feel that it is more difficult to suppress than before? Su Changyi felt confused. Quickly clear your mind of distracting thoughts, mobilize more energy and blood, and suppress the spread of toxins. Well, then I'll go out and keep watch. If anything happens to you, call me immediately. Yifeng said and was about to walk outside, etc. Su Changyi suddenly shouted, looking at Yifeng. Her eyes were full of fire, and she wanted to knock Yifeng down. You, what's going on? Yifeng felt very uncomfortable in his heart. No, it's okay. Su Changyi's eyes became clear again. You should go out first. I should be fine after I take a medicinal bath. Su Changyi said. Yifeng nodded, left the cave, and came to guard outside. In the cave, Su Changyi took off her armor, undressed and took off her belt, and pieces of clothing fell off. Straight and slender thighs took steps and stepped into the pool. As the body sank, the water surface rose all the way, and finally reached the neck. The whole person was like this, soaking in the pool. That fool gave me Heihuan powder and forced me to have fun with him in order to be able to detoxify. You thief, just dream. I will remove the poison right now and prevent you from succeeding. After I detoxify, I will definitely settle the score with you. Su Changyi gritted her white teeth and said angrily. Time passed by minute by minute. What's going on? As she soaked in the medicinal bath, the restlessness in Su Changyi's body did not weaken at all. Not only was it useless, it even gradually became stronger, requiring her to use more energy and blood to suppress it. Not good. The toxins in the body suddenly exploded. It was almost suppressed to the limit, but now it suddenly explodes and is finally completely unable to be suppressed. The medicinal power of Heihuan powder is no longer limited to a certain range, but flows to all parts of the body along with the blood. At this moment, Su Changyi's eyes became blurred, her breathing rate accelerated, her body temperature rose, and she was panting slightly. Outside the cave, Yifeng suddenly noticed that there were some movements and sounds of unknown meaning coming from the cave. Yifeng. Yifeng suddenly heard Su Changyi calling his name in the cave. You called me, Yifeng confirmed. Well, come in. Su Changyi's voice was full of charm. Have you finished taking the medicinal bath? Yifeng asked. Yes, it's ready. Come in quickly. Her voice was urgent. Oh, okay. Although he felt a little strange, Yifeng still didn't think much and walked towards the cave. When Yifeng entered, the scene before him almost made his nose bleed. In the pool, Su Changyi was soaking in it. The water surface rippled, and the underwater body was looming, twisting like a water snake. The look in Yifeng's eyes almost made his eyes tremble. Teacher Su, what are you doing? Didn't you say that you've already finished the brewing? Call me in now, how can you? Yifeng turned around immediately, his mouth felt dry even as he spoke. However, he didn't wait for Yifeng to finish speaking. The sound of rushing water came from behind, and Su Changyi's jade hands grabbed Yifeng's clothes. Caught off guard, Yifeng became unstable and was dragged into the pool. Su Changyi used her hands and feet to tightly wrap around Yifeng. Yifeng, I can't control it anymore. I can only wrong you. Rather than letting that ugly monster succeed, I might as well follow you. At this time, Yifeng felt that even the cold pool water could not cool him down. Until now, Yifeng finally understood what the poison Su Changyi was poisoned by. No wonder she had always avoided the topic when I asked her what kind of poison she was poisoned with. No wonder, from the moment we first met, I felt that her state was a bit unnatural. Yifeng was about to say something, but his mouth was blocked. My first time. Wow, wow. In the cave, the sound of rushing water was heard, which kept getting louder and louder. In this process, snap, you opened a blue treasure box. Congratulations on getting 12,000 soul power points. The sudden reminder stunned Yifeng. The blue treasure chest that I had longed for was actually opened in this way. Thinking of the location of the treasure chest, located in the lower abdomen, the feeling is not difficult to understand. Yifeng couldn't help but remember that when obtaining the wood marrow crystal, he could reach into the tree hole and touch the wood marrow crystal inside and take it out. A total of 12,000 points of soul power. After the fusion, Yifeng's soul power skyrocketed. From the original 15,000, it skyrocketed to 27,000. And this value happens to be the threshold for king level. In other words, Yifeng's soul master realm was promoted from the late general level to the early king level in one fell swoop. With this kind of strength, it is completely easy to deal with the enemies in the later stage of King Wu. The cave has become quiet. The two of them had put on their clothes, and Su Chanyi's eyes were clear again, but her face was still extremely red. It was poison before, but now it's a blushing face. Thinking of the process just now, she didn't know how to face Yifeng. That's when, hey, I found you. Outside the cave, there was an unpleasant and harsh sound. It's over. I'm stuck in the cave and can't escape. Su Chanyi panicked. Look for a second exit. Although the toxin has been removed now, she had consumed too much energy and blood to suppress the toxin, which was very expensive. In this state, there is no way to fight the enemy. Originally, she planned to leave the Misty Forest first after the poison was removed and her strength recovered, allowing her to run at full speed. I'll have to figure out how to get revenge later. But now, he had just detoxified and was in extremely poor condition, and he was blocked in the cave by the enemy. It is estimated that the enemy will come in from outside soon. Obviously, there is no second exit, Yifeng said. Inside, you can see all the way to the end. You can tell if there is a second exit at a glance. It's all your fault that it took so long, Su Chanyi complained. Has it become a shortcoming over time? Yifeng asked back. While he was talking, a man in a black robe walked in from outside. He stuck out his tongue with severely yellow coating and licked his thick lips, saliva drooling everywhere. I smell the smell of herbs. Hey, you think this is ordinary Heihuan powder? Wrong, this is Heihuan powder that has been modified by my magic. Ordinary antidote not only cannot cure it, but will exacerbating the spread of toxins. The man in black robe chuckled, feeling very proud. But soon, his face became distorted. But looking at you now, the toxin should have been lifted. Could it be that the two of you have? You actually went against my wishes. I can't forgive you. The man in black robe's voice was harsh and hoarse, his face was twisted to the extreme, and he looked very crazy. It made his already ugly face even uglier. Hearing what he said, Su Chanyi's face turned cold. No wonder the antidote didn't work, and she even suddenly lost control. It turned out to be like this. This perverted thief is really insidious. Yifeng, when the fight starts, I will try my best to hold him back. You look for opportunities to escape first, and I will look for opportunities to get rid of him. Su Chanyi looked solemn and whispered to Yifeng. No, I'm not afraid of him at all. You don't need to take action, just watch from the side. Yifeng spoke calmly and told the truth. It's now time, so don't be brave, otherwise it will only cause trouble. Listen to me and find an opportunity to run away later. Su Chanyi's tone was serious and she stood in front of Yifeng to protect her. Naturally, she didn't believe Yifeng's words. In her opinion, a freshman like Yifeng, even if he showed good strength during the ring battle, he could only be regarded as good. Putting it in front of King Wu, it was not worth mentioning at all, and he didn't even have a chance to resist. One finger of King Wu could crush him to death. Let him fight. It's no different from sending him to death. You two don't have to fight, I won't let either of you escape. The voice of the conversation between the two was actually very low. The man in black robe did not hear clearly what the two said. But with a casual guess, you can guess that besides discussing escape, what else could they discuss? Anyway, from his point of view at this time, the two of them were just fish on the chopping board, ready to be slaughtered by him. He had already begun to think about what method he would use to torture the two of them later. Just thinking about it made him tremble with excitement, shake like crazy, and make some weird noises of unknown meaning. Okay, I've already figured out how to play with you. Now, let's enjoy it. The man in black robe licked his lips and said extremely evilly. Su Chanyi also became nervous. Although she felt exhausted, she still forcibly mobilized the energy and blood in her body to prepare for battle. It is better to overdraw the body than to stand and wait for death. Moreover, if you fall into the hands of a person with such a perverted personality, even if you die, you will die miserably. Just when Su Chanyi was about to take action, preparing to fight to the death. Call out. The sharp sound of breaking through the air behind him quickly passed by his ears. A blood-red stream of light instantly swallowed up the short distance between the two sides and appeared in front of the man in black robe. This is too fast. It's too unexpected. The man in black robe didn't even have time to react. Only one thought came to his mind: what is this? The death crisis is coming. The blood-red spear pierced through the center of his forehead, and with terrifying power, the entire head was shattered. The remaining power of the spear was not diminished, and it shot straight away, eventually nailing into the cave wall and sinking deeply into it. Receive. The spear stuck deep in the cave wall was turned into energy again and returned to Yifeng's mind. The headless body of the man in black robe fell straight down. In his hand, he also held a handful of paralysis powder. As long as you are contaminated with this substance and there is no antidote, you will become weak and temporarily paralyzed. It is estimated that it was suddenly thrown over during preparation and combat. He is indeed a vicious guy. Who is it? Who was responsible for the attack just now? Is there someone else in the cave? He is a strong man. Looking at the man in black robe who was instantly killed, Su Chanyi did not move for a long time. She was stunned for a long time before slowly turning around. I want to see who the strong man who took action just now is. After Su Chanyi turned around, she saw Yifeng behind her. Apart from that, there is no one else. The one who took action just now was you, Yifeng. Before turning around, she certainly knew that the possibility of anyone else existing in this cave was very low. But she just couldn't believe it. How could a person who was only at the level of a military commander in her cognition suddenly burst out with such a terrifying attack? The enemy is a real king of martial arts. He is not an ordinary martial king yet, he has reached the late stage of martial king. And they always use some insidious means to make it difficult for people to guard against. Even if he is also a martial king, fighting against this person is extremely dangerous and he may fall into trouble at any time. But such a strong opponent was instantly killed by Yifeng with one blow in a single encounter. The contrasting impact this brought to Su Chanyi was undoubtedly huge. In just a short period of time, Yifeng has become so strong. The attack you just performed felt like there were fluctuations in soul power. Are you not only a warrior, but also a soul master? Su Chanyi looked at Yifeng in surprise. Yes, it's the soul master's attack method. Yifeng nodded. Your level as a soul master is higher than that of a warrior. I didn't expect you to hide so deeply. If I had known you were so strong, we wouldn't have had to run away in the first place. Oh yes, you probably feel that you don't want to show off your soul master's strength in front of outsiders unless you have to, so that you can use it as a trump card, so you chose to run away in the first place. Don't worry, I won't tell your soul master's secrets. Su Chanyi looked like, I understand you, and came up with many ideas in succession. I wasn't running just now, it was you who hugged me and ran. Yifeng smiled and deliberately joked. When Su Chanyi mentioned such relatively intimate words, she thought of what happened between the two of them in the pool just now, and her ears suddenly turned red. Ahem, she coughed lightly to hide her strange look, then you can't say it. Are you so obedient that you can just run away when I take you with me? Which man would refuse to be embraced by a beautiful woman? Yifeng was still smiling, and his eyes were scanning her body as he spoke. The beautiful scene of white flowers just now seemed to appear before my eyes again. HMPH. Pervert. Su Chanyi snorted and refused to talk to Yifeng. He turned around and looked at the body of the man in black robe. He didn't dare to attack directly, but used a weapon to pull him away. Everything he carried was pulled out. There are dozens of kinds of pills, powders, bottles and cans. What a sinister and vicious pervert. Even though the person is dead now, Su Chanyi is still a little angry. The result of her anger was to whip the corpse and cut a certain vital part of the corpse with a knife. Seeing this, Yi Feng felt his lower body tighten. This woman, if I offend her one day, will she be stabbed like this? I know who he is. Su Changyi said suddenly. Who? Yi Feng asked. Look at this tattoo. She pointed the knife at the man in black robe's right hand, which had a tattoo on her forearm. It was a bloody hand, stretching out from a dark door frame, as if it was asking for life. Just looking at this pattern gives people an evil feeling. The Bloody Hand Gate. Yi Feng subconsciously said this name. Yes, it's the Blood Hand sect. Since he is a member of the Blood Hand sect, it's not surprising. The Bloody Hand sect is an organization that is extremely evil, with all its members being evil people who take pleasure in doing evil things. They have a notorious record of misdeeds and have committed many heinous crimes. They have long been angry and have been on the wanted list. Murder, looting, etc., are just daily pediatrics for them. What they pursue is extreme evil. Even if they only do one bad thing, they still have to do it in a variety of ways. For example, if someone kills someone, they may be chopped off with a single blow. But they kill people and torture them slowly using various means. This process makes them feel excited and exciting. Those who join this kind of organization have more or less psychological problems, so it is not surprising that they can do such things. By the way, some members of the Blood Hand sect are wanted on the wanted list. Check quickly to see if this guy is on the list. Su Changyi reminded. The wanted list is set up by the state to specifically target those evildoers who have committed heinous crimes, allowing experts from all over society to help capture or kill them. Whether captured alive or killed, you can get a generous bounty. From this, a profession, bounty hunter, also developed. They have a plan and organization, looking for wanted criminals everywhere, killing them and earning bounties. Of course, while obtaining high returns, you also bear extremely high risks. The people who can be on the list are all evil people, and their strength is not too bad. There are many examples of wanted criminals being killed. Yi Feng used his tactical watch to open a small light screen and started browsing the internet. Enter the wanted website and enter the keyword, Blood Hand Gate, in the search box. Soon, they were listed in a row. The one who ranked first in the search results was the leader of the Bloody Hand sect. Blood Hand Sect Master. Unknown information and unknown strength. Those who provide information, once confirmed, will be rewarded more than 30 million yuan based on the value of the information, with no upper limit. Kill. Reward 4 billion. Capture alive. Reward 5 billion. Good guy. Seeing this wanted information, Yi Feng called him a good guy. Just by providing information, you can get a minimum reward of more than 30 million yuan. It can turn a beggar into a rich man in an instant, and he will have no worries about food and drink for the rest of his life. And if they are captured alive or killed, they will have billions in an instant. The reward for catching alive is higher than killing, which is quite understandable. The value of being captured alive is greater, as information can be obtained through interrogation. In addition, when two masters fight against each other, it is actually more difficult to capture them alive. You need to have crushing strength to capture them alive. Otherwise, you will be helpless during the fight, and you may even be killed if you are not careful. Therefore, the bounty looks tempting, but not everyone has the strength to take it. Even the official gave unknown information and unknown strength. This shows that this person is very well hidden, and it is difficult to even find him, let alone capture him alive or kill him. Below the Bloody Hand Sect Master, there are several senior members of the Bloody Hand sect. The bounties are also very high, basically 100 million, but they are far less high than the Bloody Hand sect Master. Yi Feng browsed down. Evil pharmacist. In the late stage of King Wu's strength, he is good at using all kinds of medicines. This person has an ugly face, a distorted mentality, and is extremely promiscuous, suitable for both men and women. Kills. 10 million. Captured alive. 12 million. There is a photo attached above. If you can compare it, it is indeed this person. Is this going to make $10 million in vain? To kill such a martial king and pay him 10 million, it seems that the martial king is a bit worthless. After all, a level 4 weapon costs several million. But you can't think of it this way. The bounty is just a reward and an encouragement, not a measure. In fact, for those who have the ability to kill instantly, such as Yi Feng just now, if they kill the opponent with one blow, they can get tens of millions of dollars. Looking at it this way, I feel that it is very profitable. One attack can earn 10 million, which is not a lot. Yi Feng immediately took action. First click to receive the wanted person, and after receiving the wanted list, click Finish. A page pops up where you can upload information. Videos of the fight, photos of the wanted man's body, the location of the body, these are the evidence. Finally, fill in the bounty hunter's own bank account for later distribution of the bounty. Personal information such as bank accounts will be encrypted by the computer system, which means that the relevant person in charge has no way of knowing who the bounty hunter is. The purpose is to protect personal privacy, prevent internal and external collusion, let others find out the specific identity of the bounty hunter, and suffer retaliation from the forces behind the wanted criminal. We will verify the evidence as soon as possible, and if the situation is true, the bounty will be issued to you within 3 days. Yi Feng swept all the medicine from the evil pharmacist into his backpack. What are you doing with his dirty stuff? Seeing Yi Feng's behavior, Su Chanyi's eyes became strange. Hey. Yi Feng did not answer directly, but looked at Su Chanyi, deliberately showing an evil smile. Su Chanyi's heart felt so hairy that she almost had goosebumps. Are you going to do bad things too? Yes, I want to do something bad to you. Yi Feng smiled evilly and walked over step by step. Su Chanyi was so frightened that she backed away. Seeing her reaction, Yi Feng was amused and laughed. I'm not kidding you anymore. These medicines are probably worth a lot since he can carry them with him. There are so many types. I'll take them back to see if there are any that I can use. Yi Feng explained. Su Chanyi rolled her eyes at Yi Feng, almost thinking that a new evil pharmacist was about to be born. Let's go, it's time to go back. The two left the cave. On the road, Yi Feng killed a general-level beast, filled a jar of beast blood with a container prepared before departure, and put it into his backpack. The remaining animal meat was not wasted, and a place was found to make a fire and barbecue. I saw Su Chanyi running her skills, the fire elements in her hands gathered, the temperature gradually increased, and when she pressed her palm on the pile of wood, the flames started to rise. Do you have a fire-type physique or talent? Yi Feng asked curiously. I have SS-level physique, Fire Lotus Spirit Body. Su Chanyi replied. I see. After the meat was cooked, the two began to eat. The meat of general-level exotic beasts contains a large amount of energy and blood, which can help Su Chanyi recover from her depleted energy and blood quickly. After eating and drinking, the two set out on the road and finally returned to the provincial capital. At the same time, several people came to a certain cave in the Misty Forest. They are prospectors from the provincial capital and belong to the wanted list department. Their main job is to go to the battle site to survey the situation. This time, I received a notice that the wanted criminal with a high bounty, the evil medicine master, had been killed, so I came over to investigate the specific situation. After several people entered the cave, a headless body appeared in front of them. A lot of skull tissue was scattered nearby, which was obviously caused by the skull exploding. This shows how terrifying the power of the attack at that time was. The person who takes action is extremely powerful. Vomit. A young man in the team almost vomited. He was a new employee who was brought out for internship experience by an old prospector. He had never experienced such a scene before, and he immediately felt physically uncomfortable. Haha, Xiao Li, look at it more and you will get used to it in the future. The old prospectors looked as usual, chatting and laughing. They had experienced too much and had long lost their feelings. Several people began to inspect the scene. The face of the headless corpse cannot be seen, but through other detection methods, it can still be determined that this corpse is the evil pharmacist. The chain of evidence is also sufficient. There is a first-person view of the battle video. They have the technology to identify the authenticity of the video and are not afraid of others making it fake. Through multiple verifications, it can basically be determined that the evil pharmacist was indeed killed. This evil pharmacist has done many evil deeds. Today, a master finally got rid of the harm. It can be said that his evil deeds are rewarded. I don't know who this master is. He can kill the evil pharmacist with one blow. He is so powerful. Maybe it's some big shot in the provincial government. Only they can do this. Several prospectors expressed wonder and talked among themselves. Yi Feng returned to Longtang Academy. The first thing is to go back to the dormitory. Now that he is a senior student, he can move to the inner city. It is a small independent courtyard with 3 rooms and a courtyard. It is much more comfortable to live in than the single-room dormitories on the outside. Yifeng, are you moving? I saw Yifeng coming to the dormitory area and taking away some personal items, such as a change of clothes and so on. This scene happened to be seen by He Ziling, so she asked aloud. Yes, I will move to the inner city. Yifeng replied. The students are all talking about you having become a senior student. I thought it was unbelievable at first, and I was going to confirm it with you, but I didn't expect that you have really become a senior student. He Ziling sounded surprised. Senior student means having 10,000 credits, which is a number of days for the current He Ziling. Unconsciously, the gap between her and Yifeng was so huge. Then I'll move here first, and you should work hard. When you become a senior student, we can still be neighbors. Yifeng encouraged. With He Ziling's talent, there will definitely be no problem in becoming a senior student, and he will be faster than most students. Her speed was normal. It could only be said that Yifeng was cheating. No one could compare to this. Looking at Yifeng's retreating back, He Ziling's eyes were full of mixed feelings, hiding the love deep in his eyes even deeper. What am I thinking? He Ziling shook his head and put away his distracting thoughts. Ever since she was forced to self-mutilate and disfigure herself, and experience the deep helplessness, she had sworn that she would only focus on martial arts in this life and not think about other aspects. Yes, I want to become stronger. Keep getting stronger. He Ziling's expression became firm again. After a brief moment of perception, a burst of joy flashed through her, and she felt that the bottleneck in her realm was actually loosened. Yifeng moved to the inner area and chose a small courtyard to live in. Take out the required materials and start mixing them with nursery soil. After matching according to the proportion, put it in the container and bury the seeds of the mulberry vine in it. You also need to pour 1 liter of animal blood. Yifeng opened the container and poured the animal blood down. Alien beast blood is very strange. Even if it is at room temperature, it can be stored for a long time and will not solidify. This is good because it needs to be watered once a day, so you don't always have to get fresh water. After doing this, the next step is to wait for it to sprout. At this time, a new treasure chest clue prompt popped up. Treasure box clue. A blue treasure box appears in the star iron mine. Please go and open it after half a month. There's another treasure chest, and it's also blue. But why is there a time condition? The clues this time are different from the previous ones. Due to time conditions, it will take half a month to go there. There must be some reason for this. Perhaps, there may be something special about this place in the Xingwen iron mine. I checked online and couldn't find any more accurate information. Most of them just introduced that star iron ore is a good metal that can be used to refine weapons and armor. Then you can only go to the collection pavilion and look through some classics to see if you can find relevant information. Yifeng is getting ready to go out. The tactical watch suddenly vibrated. I took a look and saw that someone was calling. It was an unknown number. Seeing the unfamiliar number dialed, Yifeng remembered that on the way back, Su Chanyi said that she lost her tactical watch in the Misty Forest and got a new one when she got back. At that time, she asked Yifeng's communication number so that she could contact her easily. It should be her. Yifeng picked it up. Sure enough, Su Chanyi's figure appeared above the light curtain. She had already changed into a set of clothes, she was completely white and clean, and she had probably taken a shower. She felt fragrant just looking at her. The dazzling twin peaks took up half of the screen. Classmate Yifeng, you have become a senior student, why don't you come over and report to the teacher? She pretended to be a strict teacher, as if she were scolding a disobedient student. Because, I'm a little tired. Yifeng smiled and meant something. It's so good, why are you tired? Su Chanyi's expression was serious. Yeah, why are you tired? Yifeng deliberately emphasized. There was a hint of uneasiness on Su Chanyi's face, and she said in a panic, come here quickly. Then it hung up directly. Yifeng happened to be going out, so he went there first. Arriving at the advanced student teaching area, Su Chanyi had just finished answering a cultivation question raised by a student. Seeing Yifeng arriving, she cleared her throat. Students, there is a new student joining our class today. He should be familiar to you. Then he looked at Yifeng and introduced. He is the new student, Yifeng. Come and say hello to everyone. Yifeng walked near Su Changyi, faced the classmates below, and said politely, "Hello everyone, I am Yifeng, please take care of me in the future." Su Changyi's eyelids jumped when she heard this. "You are so humble." Even though he, the mighty king of martial arts and the senior tutor of Longtang Academy, can't beat him, this guy still wants to take care of him. Bang bang bang. The students in the audience applauded to express their welcome and whispered. "In just a short period of time, I became a senior student. It's too fast." Maybe it's because he was pretty good before. For example, when he took the college entrance examination, he already had the strength of a military commander. That's why he's so fast now. It makes sense. This is more acceptable. Otherwise, it would be outrageous to have made so much progress in a short period of time. The students present here are all top-notch students who are able to gather here. There are many top scorers in the college entrance examination in each city. They are arrogant and find it difficult to accept that the genius themselves have been crushed so much by another genius. I had to find a reason to forcefully convince myself that the other party was not that exaggerated. Yifeng, if you encounter problems in cultivation in the future, feel free to ask me to avoid delaying the cultivation process. Su Changyi deliberately joked to Yifeng. Of course she knew that with Yifeng's current strength, there was no need to ask her for advice. "Can I go to the tutor's dormitory for one-on-one tutoring?" Yifeng blinked and asked with a smirk on his face. Of course. Subconsciously, he was about to say yes. He quickly thought of something and noticed Yifeng's evil smile. Su Changyi glanced at Yifeng angrily and winked wildly. In class, with so many people watching, this guy still does this. "Teacher Su, what's going on? Why does it feel a little weird?" "I don't know, maybe I'm not satisfied with what Yifeng said." "There's nothing wrong with what he said, right? I remember that many students encountered some emergencies before and went to teacher Su's residence to ask her for advice. She didn't say much at the time and answered them very seriously." This scene made the students very confused. "Teacher Su, I have something else to do and would like to take leave." Another word from Yifeng once again confused the students. "I just joined, and I am probably the weakest in the class. Now I don't pay attention to the class, and I actually asked for leave in the middle of the class." He's finished. He became a student of Instructor Su, but he didn't investigate her temper properly. This has violated a taboo. The students shook their heads. Because they knew that Su Changyi was famous for hating others leaving midway. If you want to ask for leave, you can, then just ask for it and don't come to this class at all. But once you came, halfway through the course, you suddenly said that you had something to do and you had to leave. Su Changyi was very disgusted with this. Even those old students with outstanding abilities dare not mention even a word and want to leave midway unless they have no choice. Once you mention it without giving enough reasons, you will definitely be severely punished. The old students didn't dare to mention it, but Yifeng, a new student, actually said it openly without even giving a specific reason. This kind of, "something happened," excuse is easy to prevaricate as soon as you hear it. It's true that newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. However, the next moment, something shocking happened. "Well, if you have anything to do, go ahead and get busy." Su Changyi had a gentle smile on her face, as gentle as she wanted. "Nani?" Everyone's mouths opened wide, and their minds could hardly turn around. Until he came back to his senses, Yifeng had already left. Looking at Su Changyi again, she was not angry at all, everything was as usual. Could it be that Teacher Su is no longer taboo about quitting the job midway? "Students, let's continue class," Su Changyi said on the stage. The old students winked at each other and decided to send a representative to verify their suspicions. "Teacher Su, I also have something to do and would like to take leave." A top student in the class raised his hand to ask Su Changyi for instructions. Su Changyi, who was giving a lecture, had a serious look on her face. "What is it specifically?" The old students felt a little bit in their hearts and had an ominous premonition. The top student couldn't think of a good reason and hesitated. "HMPH, how many times have I told you, I hate people who quit midway. As a student, it is the golden period of hard training. If I don't listen to the lectures carefully and strive to become stronger quickly, but I still ask for leave and leave, it really wastes my life. Hard work. Go out and run 5,000 laps around the school. Su Chanyi punished her. Ah, top students are miserable. This is Longtang Academy. It covers a very large area. Even if the generals have good speed and physique, it will be very tiring after 5,000 laps. Teacher, you are partial. For the same reason, Yi Feng can leave, but I can't and will be punished corporally. He argued. Can it be the same? When you no longer need to attend classes, you can leave at any time without even saying hello to me. Su Chanyi said seriously. If he's just more talented and progresses faster, why doesn't he have to attend classes? The old student muttered dissatisfiedly, but did not dare to confront him loudly. Because he knew that if he said a few more words, not only would he not be able to change anything, but he would even have to increase the amount of corporal punishment. What else can be done? The partiality was so obvious that he had no choice but to admit defeat and go running honestly. Yi Feng came to the collection pavilion. After becoming a senior student, you can enter the 3rd level. On the 3rd floor, there are many classics recording various events. Although today's technology can store data in chips, the habit of recording in books has always been retained. Especially for some more important information, people prefer to use paper as a carrier. As long as it is properly kept, it can be stored for a long time. Yi Feng began to search for information about the star pattern iron mine. After a while, I finally found it. It also made Yi Feng understand why it took half a month to open this treasure chest. Star pattern iron can only be produced in one place, which is the secret realm of treasure mines. There are a large number of minerals in this secret realm, and star pattern iron is one of them. When people find star iron mines, they can dig out star iron minerals. After melting, they become star iron. As for why it takes half a month to go there, it's because the treasure mine's secret realm is rather strange, and the teleportation entrance to the secret realm does not exist at all times. It fades in and out, appears periodically, and then turns off again. It will be closed for about a month at a time, and then open for about 10 days, and so on. It will take half a month until the next opening. Therefore, the clues to the treasure chest will only show up, and we will set off half a month later. Now that we have gone, we cannot enter the secret realm. In this half month, you should treat it as a rest. There is no need to be idle. You can study how to raise GU insects and how to deal with the Jong family. Yi Feng did not forget that the Jong family also had a red treasure box waiting for him to open, and a god-eating moss seedling waiting for him to pick it up. Only by knowing ourselves and our enemies can we make better action plans. I have arrows to guide me. You don't have to work hard to find it when the time comes. Just follow the arrows and you will eventually arrive. Only, Yi Feng looked at the book again, and there was this sentence on it. After years of development, people have clearly realized the value of the secret treasure mine. Many of the mineral veins in it are occupied by major forces. They spend manpower and material resources to mine minerals inside and then transport them out, forming a huge industrial chain. Yi Feng didn't know whether the star-patterned iron mine where the treasure chest was located had an owner. He would only know when he went there. Time passes. 2 days later, Yi Feng, who was in the dormitory, suddenly received a transfer reminder. You received a transfer in the amount of 10 million yuan, and the current balance is 15,800,000 yuan. From the bounty list headquarters. It's the wanted bounty I received from killing the evil pharmacist. Yi Feng's original more than 5 million was due to his excellent performance in the college entrance examination, which brought huge benefits to the 10th Martial Arts High School. The school rewarded him with 5 million, and the other 800,000 was earned from selling things later. In one fell swoop, Yi Feng's assets doubled several times, reaching a net worth of over 10 million. It seems like you can make money pretty quickly this way. However, the whereabouts of people on the wanted list are very secretive, and it is not that easy to find them. Whether you can make a windfall depends on whether you are lucky. If you are lucky, another fat fish will be another huge income. Don't think about this for now. Yi Feng looked at the seedling pot and saw that the soil was a little dry. The animal blood hasn't been poured out today yet. Yi Feng took out the animal blood and poured 1 liter of animal blood into the seedling pot. Water once a day, and the seedling soil will be dry the next day, probably all absorbed by the seeds. Yi Feng hopes that the seeds will sprout and grow quickly. Then he was not idle and took out several more utensils. The vessel is a Gu plate, and there are many small bugs in it. Gu plates and bugs were all bought with money in the past 2 days. They are just relatively basic things and are not expensive. I bought a lot for just 10,000 yuan. The really expensive ones are the more advanced and rare bugs, as well as the Gu bugs that have been cultivated to maturity. At the current stage, Yifeng can't use those for the time being. Practice brings out the truth. It is difficult to learn how to raise voodoo just by reading detailed explanation of raising Gu. Only by watching and experimenting can you make rapid progress. In the Gu trays number 1 to number 3, all the Gu insects have been wiped out. In the Gu trays number 4 to number 6, it is better. The plan needs to be adjusted again, and the amount of poisonous food fed needs to be reduced. Yifeng concluded, for the time being, try raising poisonous insects. The insects themselves contain toxins, and then feed them poisonous food to make them more poisonous. The amount of poisonous food must be controlled well, otherwise it will easily happen that all the insects will die. When my skills in cultivating poisonous insects become stronger, I will be able to cultivate high-level poisonous insects in the future. Some of the poisons I collected from the evil pharmacist will come in handy. Yifeng said secretly. As for now, the level of poisonous insects is too low and they cannot withstand poisons that are too poisonous. No matter how diluted it is, it will definitely die if fed. Another 8 days passed. At this time, Yifeng opened his palms, and a 10-centimeter long small ivy twisted in Yifeng's palm, like a small caterpillar. It is Yunsangvine. After a total of 10 days, it finally grew into a seedling and Lingzi was born. It could leave the nursery soil and survive without soil, and it could still move. Yifeng circulated his energy and blood, forced out the blood from his fingertips, and used a cup to collect nearly 200 milliliters. Smelling the smell of blood, little Yun Sang Tang was like a cat smelling fish, and immediately jumped into the cup, soaked in the blood, and greedily absorbed it. Mu Buffin's diary records that after the seeds grow into ivy, spiritual wisdom is born. If it can move, use your own blood to let it absorb, so that you can recognize its owner. As for the seed form, the animal blood watered by it is only absorbed by it as nutrients, which has no effect. Once the demonized plant recognizes its owner, it will be absolutely loyal and will not betray its owner again, so this step of recognizing its owner is very important. Yunsang vine greedily absorbs it, and the speed of blood visible to the naked eye decreases. Until finally, it absorbs all the blood, and the color of the body surface becomes green with red, which seems to be really full. Somehow, Yifeng felt that a bond had been established between him and Yunsang Tang. Owner. It seems that I can still feel the words expressed by Yunsang Tang. Of course, this does not mean that Yunsang Vine can speak, but that it can establish a master-servant relationship and be able to feel the other person's thoughts and emotions through body movements. They are all just relatively simple ideas. They have just given birth to spiritual intelligence and their spiritual intelligence is relatively low. Can you be a little bigger now? Yifeng tried to say. After receiving the order, the Yunsang vine immediately began to grow in size, and finally stopped growing to nearly 1 meter. It seems that it can only reach this level now. But it doesn't matter, as long as there are enough nutrients, it will grow very quickly. For example, it still likes animal blood and wood marrow crystals, so you can continue to feed it. There are also other types of nutrients. As long as Yunsang vine likes it, Yifeng is ready to get more of it so that it can absorb and grow to its heart's content. Time passed, and 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. After 5 days of eating and drinking, the vine has doubled in length and has grown to 2 meters, growing very fast. Unable to help Yifeng for the time being, Yifeng made it smaller, wrapped around his upper arm, and was covered up by his clothes. It's time to find the treasure chest. Half a month has passed. The treasure mine secret realm is open today. You can enter it. Go to the location of the blue treasure chest, and open the treasure chest. Yifeng prepared his equipment and went out. After leaving the school gate and passing by the playground outside, it was very noisy and there were many students gathered around. The smell of blood was also very strong, permeating the surrounding air. What happened? Yifeng was confused and squeezed past. Yifeng approached, and a bloody picture appeared in front of Yifeng. They saw a person lying on the ground. A large hole was opened in his abdomen. All the internal organs inside were missing. He had obviously been hollowed out. His limbs had also been cut off, and he died in a miserable state. Looking at his face again, even though it was stained red with blood, Yifeng recognized it at a glance. Zhao Ming. The person who died in such a tragic situation was actually Zhao Ming. Speaking of which, Zhao Ming was the biggest beneficiary when his grades were dropped. Yifeng also wanted to take revenge on him, but later he was busy improving his strength and put the matter on hold. In a short period of time, he had grown up to the point where he could kill King Wu instantly, and little people like Zhao Ming were no longer looked down upon by Yifeng at all. Unexpectedly, he died so tragically suddenly. Who did it? Yifeng was confused. The students around him were also confused. So cruel. Who did it? You dare to kill our students from Longtang Academy and dump their bodies here. How arrogant. The students around were scared and angry. At this time, several instructors hurried over, including Su Chani. Seeing that Yifeng was also present, she simply asked Yifeng, "We received a report from a student that classmate Zhao Ming died tragically in the playground outside. Do you know what happened?" Yifeng shook his head. "I just wanted to go out and passed by here. I didn't know clearly." After getting this answer, she had to ask others. Most people also don't know the situation. We discovered it first. When we found it, the body was here. Several people stood up. The body lacks internal organs and some limbs. This is definitely not the scene of a murder, so someone must have moved the body here. Check the monitoring. One of the instructors had already started to contact the surveillance room, and soon the surveillance footage was transmitted. Everyone watches the scene. Suddenly, it was early in the morning and there was no one on the playground outside. Suddenly, from the edge of the surveillance screen, something flew past quickly and finally hit the ground. It's none other than Zhao Ming's corpse. The location of the landing point is indeed here. The murderer deliberately avoided the surveillance footage and threw the body from a distance. The other party should also know that Zhao Ming is a student of Longtang Academy. But, why did the other party do this? Yes, if it is just to kill Zhao Ming, you can throw the body elsewhere. I think the murderer's behavior should be a deliberate provocation. You mean, he is targeting our Longtang Academy? Yes, it's very possible. If this is the case, then you have to be careful next. Let's report the matter quickly and let people start investigating. At the same time, let the students try not to go out in the near future. HMPH. We must find the murderer and let him know that our Longtang Academy is not a vegetarian. Each of the instructors explained the situation in one sentence and felt dignified and angry. The students' expressions were even more ugly, fearing that they would be the next ones to be disemboweled. Did you hear everything? Go to school quickly and don't come out without first hand. Yes, they all cherished their lives and went to the school without any explanation. That student, where do you want to go? Go back to school quickly. There was one person who was still going his own way, walking far away. It seemed that he was leaving the school and going somewhere else. Immediately, the instructor shouted. Me. Yifeng turned around. Who else is it if it's not you? Come back quickly, the instructor said. I'm in a hurry and have to go out. Yifeng said. Teacher Su, isn't this your student? Take care of it quickly. Other instructors advised Su Chani. Su Chani was speechless for a moment, she couldn't control Yifeng. If she dared to say more than a few words, she would be teased in turn. This guy often teased her regardless of the occasion, and several times he almost let others see the problem. Do you really want to go out? Su Chani confirmed. Yeah, Yifeng nodded. Then pay attention to safety. Su Chani said. Yifeng left, gradually going away. People around. Are you crazy? The murderer hasn't been investigated yet. The murderer's intentions, specific strength, and number of people, are all unclear. You just let him leave like this. Both the tutor and the students were all in disbelief. I can't help it. I can't control this bad student. Su Chani spread her hands and emphasized in a low voice, yes, he is very bad. Teacher Su is still partial to Yifeng, but this time it's a little skewed. The student named Su Chani murmured. Yifeng left the school and followed the arrow. What happened just now had little impact on Yifeng. However, he also had an extra thought. Maybe there really was a force that was causing trouble against Longtang Academy. Next, it depends on how the senior officials of the school investigate this matter, and then there may be results. They can just worry about this. With Yifeng's current strength, he still has some ability to protect himself. He just needs to be more vigilant when walking outside, and it will not affect his search for treasure chests. Opening this treasure chest will increase your strength again. When you are strong enough, go to the Jong family and look for the red treasure chest and the god-eating moss. Yifeng's current strength is not enough to compete with the Jong family, and he has no ability. He sneaked into the Jong family's mansion without anyone noticing and took away the things inside. Strength, we still need to improve our strength. Yifeng quickened his pace. Today's top speed. Using only the basic speed of a Qi Blood Warrior, the speed is about 270 meters per second. If you use the Soul Master's ability, it will be much faster, with a maximum speed of almost 810 meters per second. Coming and going is like a gust of wind, no need to take special transportation. Although it is impossible to maintain it all the time, rushing at the extreme speed will make you panic. But even if he walks slowly, his speed is still very fast. After traveling for a while, Yifeng finally arrived at the secret realm of the treasure mine. The entrance to the secret realm is located on a piece of Gobi Desert. There are so many people. Yifeng found that there were a lot of people coming and going, and they were all going in and out of the secret realm in groups. If you think about it for a moment, it's not difficult to understand. The secret realm is opened at intervals. Every time it is closed for 1 month, it will be open for 10 days. Today is the first day it is open, so there must be a lot of people. These people are probably from families and forces. They have some mineral vein industries in the secret realm, and they have employees working in them. During the month when the secret realm is closed, employees can stay inside, but there is no way to leave the secret realm. After a month, a lot was dug, and people were arranged to come and transport the minerals dug out this month. Yifeng followed the crowd and approached the entrance of the secret realm. Similar to entering the green secret realm before, a strong suction force acted on Yifeng. Soon, Yifeng was sucked into it. After a wonderful teleportation process, when he could see the surrounding scenery clearly again, Yifeng had appeared in the secret realm. Looking around, there are no plants, and there are sand and stones everywhere. Even the forest-like scenery in the distance is just composed of stone pillars, called a stone forest. Yifeng follows the arrow. Finally, we came to a mountain. This is it. This mountain is also bare, not covered with lush vegetation like the outside world. It is very characteristic of this secret place, and the main thing is that there is no grass growing. To put it nicely, it's a mountain, to put it worst, it's just a huge rock. Yifeng did not approach, hiding behind a certain stone several meters high, observing from a distance. There is a cave in the middle of the mountain over there. The traces of the excavation are obvious, so it must have been dug by humans. On the left and right sides of the cave, there is a gatekeeper standing on each side. There were 2 men, wearing armor and carrying long knives at their waists, acting as guards, chatting and alerting them to the surroundings. A month has passed and the secret realm is open today. I think the family will send someone over quickly to transport away the minerals accumulated here. I have been looking forward to this day for a long time. When someone comes to take over, I will go to Yeshiangju in the evening to have a good time. I stay here every day and it seems like there are rocks everywhere. I am tired of seeing it. Yeshiangju, haha, we are of the same kind. Why, you go there often too. Then I'm sure, after all the hard work, the boss can still wrong the second brother. That makes sense. Speaking of this, both of them laughed lustfully. Who are you? The 2 of them suddenly noticed that a person was approaching from a distance and immediately shouted loudly. However, the man did not answer and continued to approach. Boy, this is the property of the Jong family. If you dare to take a step closer, you will lose your life. The man on the left shouted. Both of them drew their long knives simultaneously. Is it really the Jong family? The person approaching at this time was Yifeng. He raised his brows and became energetic. The arrow leads all the way into the cave, and you can only enter from this cave. I just saw from a distance that the 2 gatekeepers had an identity badge hanging on their waist, with the word, Jong, engraved on it. Those who killed Zhang Mingxuan that day, and later searched their bodies, Yifeng also discovered that they had similar waistbands on them. These big families, with their strong backgrounds, like to show their identity very much. It is a sign of pride and can also intimidate Xiao Xiao. Many people with insufficient strength, seeing such status and background, have long since withdrawn themselves and do not dare to cause trouble at all. The moment he saw the waist card, Yifeng guessed that this mineral vein belonged to the Zhang family. As expected, it was really from the Zhang family. It's really a narrow road between enemies. Go, kill him. The two men had ferocious faces, wielding their long knives and slashing at Yifeng. After staying in this ungrateful place for a long time, the two of them were already in a bad mood, and one of them was looking for death, so it was just a good time to vent. However, the next moment, the sword light flashed away. There was a clear sound of metal breaking, the two men's secondary swords broke simultaneously, and their body movements stopped. The two people who were only in the martial arts realm had their eyes widened and full of fear. A clear line of blood quickly appeared in their throats and they fell straight down. Bang, bang, Yifeng stepped on the tactical watches they were wearing on their wrists, crushing them to pieces with no chance of recovery. The purpose is very simple, to prevent them from turning on video recording just now and filming themselves. He doesn't have the strength yet and is facing the Zhang family head-on, so it is necessary to hide his identity. Although this operation was not mentioned in the previous battles, Yifeng always did it by the way, either taking away their tactical watches, or destroying them without leaving any evidence. Yifeng continued to walk into the cave. Entering the cave, there is a long main mine tunnel that can accommodate at least several people walking side by side. All the way down, there are also some small mining tunnels branching off to the left and right, and the clanking sound of mining can be heard. Perhaps due to the sound of fighting outside just now, a group of people rushed out of a certain mine tunnel, rushing outside to check the situation. Unexpectedly, he ran into Yifeng halfway. Who are you? How dare you trespass on my Zhang family's mines? There were 5 people in the team, and the leader was a strong man with an unshaven beard. He suddenly shouted and displayed his weapons. Who is it? Haha, I'm here to take your lives. Yifeng sneered. They are just 5 martial masters and can be destroyed easily. Looking for death. Go ahead, kill him. The 5 people rushed towards Yifeng with murderous intent. The shadow of the knife flew in Yifeng's hand, and he struck several times on the 5 people. Ah! Several people screamed and fell down quickly. Because of the movement here, everyone in the mine tunnel was basically aware of it. Temporarily put down the pickaxe at hand, put on their weapons, and rush out of the mine tunnels. Their strength is basically around the martial arts level. It poses no threat to Yifeng at all. Yifeng is only doing one thing, following the arrow. Wherever it passes, people block and kill people, and whoever comes will die. Quick, go call some guards. The enemy is too strong. The remaining remnants were defeated and retreated continuously. The guards they refer to are the 3 top executives here, who are the strongest and play the role of guarding the mineral veins. How brave! How dare you break into my Zhang family's mines? Kill people from my Zhang family. No matter which family you belong to, if you dare to offend my Zhang family, you will definitely die a hard death. The main guard, Zhang Fei, together with 2 deputy guards, came out of a cave and quickly approached Yifeng. Zhang Fei has reached the peak of his military rank, and the 2 deputy guards accompanying him are also at the late stage of his military career. Great, the 3 guards are here. The 3 guards are all military generals, and the opponent is probably only a military general. 3 against 1, we can easily win. HMPH. After killing so many of us, when we capture him, we must twitch and skin him. You must be tortured severely, otherwise it will be difficult to get rid of the hatred in your heart. Seeing the 3 guards coming over, the people who were originally howling and screaming after being killed by Yifeng suddenly found the backbone. They were no longer afraid and their expressions calmed down. There was no need to retreat and escape. The eyes looking at Yifeng seemed to be watching. A dying man, guardian, general, Yifeng smiled. Not to mention generals, even King Wu, killing is like chopping melons and vegetables. Go, destroy him first, then interrogate him slowly. Zhang Fei took the lead, followed by the other 2, and 3 guards, charging towards Yifeng with great momentum. The other members of the martial arts realm, to show their loyalty and because the guards took the lead, emboldened them, actually launched a charge accordingly. Facing several people charging towards him, Yi Feng raised the corner of his mouth. Condensation. The demon-breaking spear appeared. What's this? Everyone was shocked. Boo-hoo-hoo. They couldn't help but think too much. After the demon-breaking spear appeared, it turned into a purple-black stream of light and shot away quickly. At the last moment of their lives, what they saw was such a stream of light, which instantly pierced their chests. They lowered their heads slowly, and there was a huge hole in their chest. Receive. He put away the magic-breaking gun again. There are no more survivors inside the mine. Yi Feng finally came to a cave. It is a guarded place for resting and is also used for storing minerals. After a month, there was a mountain-like pile of ore inside, which was worth a lot of money. And on the ore pile, a treasure box emitting blue light was quietly placed there. So far, the treasure chest has been found quite smoothly. There are basically no obstacles and it can be opened. Yi Feng touched it immediately. Snap. You opened a blue treasure box. Congratulations on getting 13,000 cards of blood. It is indeed a blue treasure chest, directly bursting out more than 10,000 blood. It's been a while since the last time I raised my blood. At that time, after the improvement, the total qi and blood volume was 11,000. During this period of time, Yi Feng also found time to practice when he had nothing to do. With the terrifying blessing of the martial arts holy body, even through practice, the improvement is very fast, with an increase of 1,000 calories. Therefore, before fusion, there were already 12,000 cards. Merge. Huge energy of qi and blood merged crazily into Yi Feng's body, and qi and blood continued to soar. It has skyrocketed so much in a short period of time, more than doubling, but there is no discomfort at all, just the feeling of pleasure brought about by the sudden increase in strength. By the end, Yi Feng's total energy and blood reached an astonishing 25,000 calories. Above 18,000 and below 27,000, it belongs to the peak of military commanders. In other words, the realm of a qi blood warrior has risen to 3 minor realms from the early stage of a warrior to the peak of a warrior. It is very close to the king of martial. You only need to add 2,000 more cards to advance to the early stage of king of martial. For example, the current Soul Master realm has 27,000 points of soul power, which is comparable to the early king level. By the way, whether you are a warrior or a soul master, the required values are the same. The corresponding values for the 4 small realms of the king level are 27,000, 36,000, 45,000, and 54,000. Suddenly at this moment, a new treasure chest prompt appeared. Treasure box clue. Stone Monkey Mountain, a blue, high-quality treasure box appears, please go and open it. Not bad. Yi Feng smiled. As soon as I opened a treasure chest and advanced myself to several small realms, a new treasure chest came. It's also blue, with the suffix, exquisite. It can produce 2 items at a time, one is worth 2. This treasure chest is really one after another. Yi Feng is looking forward to what he can come up with this time. I'll open it later. As for now, Yi Feng looked ahead and saw a large pile of star-patterned iron ore. If you sell them all, you can get a good price. Don't give it up for free, you must take it away. The only trouble is that the ore is too heavy and heavy to move all at once. And dividing it into many trips is very unrealistic. Yi Feng couldn't help but think, it would be great if there was a storage magic weapon like the one in the novel that could collect all the things at once. It has to be of a large size, otherwise it won't be able to hold too much. Thinking back on it, Yi Feng knew that such a thing was impossible at present. Maybe it will happen in the future, but not necessarily. Yi Feng has actually already thought about how to deal with minerals. He dialed a number, and only choose voice calls, no video calls. After 3 beeps, the other party connected. Hey, who's there? A rough male voice came from the opposite side. I have a lot of star pattern iron ore here, do you want to take it? Yi Feng said straight to the point. How big is the pile? The other party asked. Yi Feng sent him a photo directly. So many. The other party was slightly surprised. Where is the location and where did it come from? He asked questions smoothly and was obviously very skilled in his business. The location. Yi Feng sent him a coordinate. How about it? Do you dare to accept it? The other party fell into silence. It seems that he knows what this place represents and has done a good job in intelligence. In our line of business, there is no question of whether you dare or not, only whether the price is suitable. He said aloud. Then how much do you think is appropriate? Yi Feng asked. The total is 9 million, and the highest price can only be this. After all, it belongs to the Jong family. The risk of collecting these is still very high. After some weighing, he announced the price. 10 million, an integer. Yi Feng bargained. 9 million is not a round number. He complained. Obviously he didn't agree with the counteroffer. You are not the only one who dares to accept this batch of black goods. Yi Feng said coldly. The meaning is self-evident, if you don't accept it, others will accept it. Okay, within an hour, someone will arrive there and transport the goods. The money and goods will be cleared by then. He gritted his teeth and agreed. Then he added in a cold voice, but the ugly words are ahead. You'd better not be kidding me. Otherwise, we are capable of doing this, and there are experts behind us. Well, don't worry. Yi Feng hung up the call. The person I just found is an order taker from an organization called Black Gloves. Their organization specializes in collecting illegal goods. It can be understood as a black market for door-to-door delivery. They put small advertisements everywhere on the internet, and Yi Feng could find the contact information with a casual search. There are many organizations of this type. We chose Black Gloves because they are well-known, powerful, and have a good reputation. There is no such thing as gangsters and betrayal of customers. The most important thing is to dare to accept hard goods. Like the pile of ore in front of you, the original owner belonged to the Jong family, so it was considered hard goods. If you didn't have any ability, you really didn't dare to get involved. Yi Feng did not stay in the mine, but came outside. I found a place in the distance with a good view and high concealment to stay. It has to be said that the Black Gloves are efficient. In just half an hour, a team of people arrived. There were about 20 people in total, pulling several animal carts. This kind of beast cart is a huge carriage, pulled by iron-hoofed beasts. The iron-hoofed beast is also a strange beast. It looks like a cow or a horse, has a strong body and good endurance. It has a fairly docile personality and can be tamed, making it very useful for hauling goods. Good boy, have you killed them all? The people in this team smelled the strong smell of blood upon arrival. At the entrance of the mine, 2 bodies fell there. They had seen a lot of people killing people and stealing goods, but it was rare that they dared to attack a family as powerful as the Jong family. You 2 are on guard outside here. If anyone approaches, you must notify them in time. The leader assigned 2 people to watch from outside. Yes, the 2 of them responded, immediately wary of any movement in the distance. The leader took the remaining people into the mine. Everywhere he passed were corpses. Dead, really all killed. Boss, who is this fierce person? He is so strong that he actually killed the Jong family's property. A strong team member looked at the corpses and exclaimed. I don't know, you should stop asking. In our line of work, we don't ask about the customer's identity. Yes, the leader taught me a lesson. Soon, they found the designated cave. Hurry, move everything outside and load it into the car. The leader ordered. Everyone got busy. They are all warriors, very strong, and can carry a lot in one trip. In addition to the large number of people, it only took 10 minutes to move all the minerals inside, and the carriage of the animal cart was filled to the brim. The leader made a phone call. Everything goes well here. The goods have been loaded and ready to leave. The quantity and type of goods are all right. Well, I understand, you should evacuate immediately. The call ends. The convoy hit the road and began to evacuate. Yi Feng noticed a phenomenon. One of their people was responsible for cutting off the back, spraying a liquid while walking. The liquid is colorless and odorless, almost like water. After it is sprayed like water mist, it is basically invisible that it has been sprayed. Really professional. Yi Feng, who has studied detailed explanation of raising GU, also has some understanding of tracking bugs such as sniffing bugs. It is mentioned that some means can be used to cover up or eliminate the smell left by oneself, which will greatly increase the difficulty of tracking the sniffing bugs. The liquid they sprayed was probably this type of method. Has the payment arrived? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.